We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own supersized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. This episode, we're diving right into the amazing world of technology. We've come a long way since our fellow primates first picked up a stick, but there's always more innovations to be had. Technology is the cornerstone of our civilization, from providing clean water, energy, and transport to electronic forks. We love it.
It's so fast moving, I think I am becoming more and more rubbish with it. And I'm getting to that age now where I'm saying, how do you do this?
We're showing you amazing hacks and gadgets you can add to your list of tech knowledge.
Selfie sticks were booming at that time, and I thought it would be funny to make one the real Russian way.
We'll also attempt to beat scientists and technologists at their own game by creating smell with the aid of our homemade vortex cannon. Yes, really, a vortex cannon. Told you this was a tech-heavy episode.
It looks like a Soyuz capsule. I thought we were going to go into 1960s space.
The riddle of why one remote battery runs out before the other has dogged mankind for millions of years. This next clip resolves this with a, you guessed it, paperclip.
This one I like because getting up to change the channel on your TV is totally overrated.
Now, this hack would work if you have one battery that still has enough juice in, but the other one is dead. You don't actually need the full hit of two batteries to power your remote control. All you need is that conductive surface to complete the circuit in your remote and allow that power to work.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. This fiddly hack is a solution to the most annoying aspect of remote ownership. If you can be bothered, it's a hack hit. From one remote control to another, how do you find your car and even unlock it from up to double the range the key normally has? This clip provides a neat and ingenious answer. Use your head.
I was wondering if it's a fake and someone's in the bush just doing it there, so that then loads of people will be stood in car parks and parking lots all over the world going.
Even I didn't believe it at first, but upon enough research I do think it's true. The way your key fob works is by sending out a radio signal, an electromagnetic wave which travels through the air.
From meteors to mobile phones, radio waves are everywhere. Like a radioactive UPS, they carry coded messages at the speed of light. They can even travel through water. The waves interact with hydrogen and oxygen atoms, and this amplifies the signal even more. Luckily for keyless car enthusiasts, our heads are full of water, which makes our skulls perfect bony radio stations, allowing you to use your cranium to zap your car open from even further away. I mean, I can't think of a time I would want to unlock my car from a huge distance. But technically this does work, so I'm going to have to say, it. Here's another hack, courtesy of the humble Paperclip, here to save you from what video-obsessed millennials call smartphone neck. With just 3 movements of a paperclip, you've set yourself up a portable smartphone viewing stand. You'll never use your TV again.
I think this is a very neat idea, and next time I'm on a train trying to watch a video on my phone, I think I'll be using this.
Yes, this is really practical because there are often times when you want both your hands free when you're watching a video.
Both the paperclip and the machine that makes them can be traced back to pin making. In the early 19th century, people used to pin their papers together, and this is where it all came from.
A smartphone product that costs less than the price of a small family car. This one is a definite hit. If you still use actual batteries for things, this next hack is a great way to see if your battery is actually empty or not. Just drop it from a small height. If it bounces around but stays standing, there's power left in there. An empty battery will bounce and probably fall over. When the alkaline breaks down, it produces gas. Yes, even batteries get gas. This lightens the battery and makes it a bit more unsteady on its feet than a full one.
Does it work with car batteries, I thought? It's not going to work with car batteries, is it? They're just heavy anyway.
No flies on you, George. You probably waste roughly the defence budget of a small country each year throwing out batteries that aren't quite finished. So this money saver is a definite hit. Coming up, at Hack HQ, Mike gives us a sweet, edible demonstration of how smells work before getting really techie and firing up an actual cannon to literally shoot aromas into our guinea pig's face, proving that learning is both fun and delicious. We've already shown you how to use your head to unlock your car and the glorious power of the humble paperclip. Does anyone actually use those things to clip paper anymore? So get ready as we head back into the world of the tech hacks you thought you never needed. Have you ever been playing a racing game on your cell phone in public and thought, I wish there was a product out there that let me look like even more of a nerd? Step this way. This next hack is for petrol heads who want to take their mobile race gaming to the next level.
An accelerometer is something that detects a change in motion. The ones you conventionally find in your phones work on concentric little discs of metal. When one of them moves ever so slightly, it's detected by the placement of the other. There's a change in electric current that flows between them. That's how it detects the change in the motion.
What the steering wheel does is it just takes advantage of that accelerometer that's already in your phone.
On one hand, it is incredibly low budget and will definitely make you look like a bit of a nerd. On the other hand, it's free and will turn you into a super cool speed demon that everyone envies. The stylus is the trendy phone or tablet accessory that says, I want to use a pencil but not paper for some reason. This clip shows you how to do that on the cheap.
Well, my initial thought with this is the whole point of smartphones is that you don't need a stylus.
To be fair, that is an excellent point.
I quite liked it. And it gets you thinking about your things that you use every day and how they might actually work.
It's a pencil that has had a bit shaved off the side. I don't understand how that makes it any different from if you used it as a stylus without the bit shaved off the side.
Well, actually, George, the reason it does make a difference is that unlike wood, graphite in a pencil is the perfect electrical conductor between this finger and phone screen. And when science saves money, it's always going to be a hit. If you thought crowbars are only used by cartoon burglars, this next video is going to change your mind. This hack really is this simple. Stick your camera to the end of a long crowbar and there you have it. A very cheap, very heavy selfie stick. Say cheese!
Selfie sticks were booming at that time, and I thought it would be funny to make one the real Russian way. Well, with the help of a huge crowbar.
A selfie stick is, clues in the title, basically a stick, so not the hardest thing to hack. It does work rather brilliantly though. Now, selfies are okay and everything, but have you ever wanted to see how a fly sees you? You have? Well then, this next hack is for you. It requires nothing more than some string and a plastic bag. The most challenging part of this is finding someone willing to tie their beloved smartphone to some flimsy blue string, then swing it around their heads at extremely high speeds.
My initial thought looking at him is Ringo Starr's let himself go.
What he's actually done here is a clever bullet time rig. Now, this was something developed during the Matrix film in a classic scene where you've got bullets flying over and the camera circulating around to see Neo bending backwards.
And you can hardly tell the difference.
The reason there's a plastic bag on the back of the phone is to stabilise its flight, because the air passing over it is uneven. What we need to do is put some drag on the back of the phone. This means if the phone moves in one direction, the drag increases and pulls it back into a stable position.
I was really hoping with him spinning it around that he was going to let go of it. And then he did, which was great. But he didn't break it, which was a shame.
This makeshift matrix hack lets you quickly click some sick tricks. Just make sure you have phone insurance. If you can't believe your eyes from that last hack, you won't believe your nose with this one. Over to Hack HQ.
Mike!
Stephen, welcome.
I'm excited about today. Tech hacks. Oh, I've been looking in the diary thinking this is the day I wanted to do more than anything. This is my background. This is where I'm at my forte.
But what's all that for?
This is examples of tech, the sort of things that we're going to do today, no?
No. So I'm going to revolutionise the way we communicate today. Not using that, but using smells. So smells are a chemical that you can detect with the olfactory receptors up in your nose.
The receptors are located in a patch of tissue about the size of a postage stamp. That tiny area senses every single odour that finds its way up your nostrils. The good, the bad, and the, well, really bad.
I've got some great smells for you.
OK.
They're pretty strong.
Right.
Have a whiff of this one. God, you've got in really close there.
Oh. It's, yeah, that doesn't smell very good. What is that? That's horrible.
So this is essence of durian fruit. You get it in Thailand.
Oh, yeah,
really
no.
stinky,
I've been to
stinky
Singapore,
fruit.
and there's signs up saying you can't take it on public
Exactly.
transport.
It's
it smells
banned
so bad.
in lifts in public places.
Oh, gosh, and it just smells awful. Nothing smells like it.
It smells of death to stop things from eating it.
Oh, yeah, good job. Well, sort of good job, because people still eat it, but...
Next
okay,
one, in a big bottle. I have to keep it in 2 containers.
Oh, my word.
Get
So
this one up your nose. What do you reckon?
That's horrific.
So that's butyric acid. It's the smell of cheesy feet.
Oh, well, at least it's getting a little bit better now.
Yeah, and that's all thanks to diffusion. Now, I can show this with a plate of sweets
Right.
and some warm water.
OK, so we've got a plate of sweets here. How is this going to show us how smells disappear?
So if I pour this into the sweets, and you'll see the colours, the chemicals in the sweets will start diffusing in.
This plate of sweets shows you exactly how smell diffusion works. Gas particles mix with air particles until they're evenly spread. So diffusion mixes everything together until it all disappears.
So today's hack, then, is all about communicating smells without them spreading out.
Exactly. So we've got the diffusion of the smells. They spread out really easily. But I need to concentrate them. And I can show you this by putting a little bit of smoke into my vortex cannon.
Oh, I thought it was just a bin.
It is. No, it's a vortex cannon that looks suspiciously like a bin.
So imagine this is smells.
OK?
As well as looking really cool, locking the smell into a ring shape allows it to travel further by counteracting the process of diffusion. Please don't cut holes in your own bins, though. Whoa.
Wow. OK.
So all of those smells are concentrated into that small little ring.
Right.
Fire them at long distances.
Harvard scientists managed to use a modified cell phone to send smells across the Atlantic Ocean. That's quite a feat. We don't have the second largest ocean in the world to hand here, but we do have this biggish barn-type building. Let's see how we get on.
Well, let's just hope the smells of freshly cut flowers and coffee and bread and not putrid foot death. Come on then, Mike.
We'll be back shortly with our very own custom-made, super-sized, not terrifying at all cannon to see how far we can fire some seriously stinky smells at Stephen. We've seen cardboard steering wheels, carrier bag drones, and even a crowbar selfie stick. Basically, the hacks so far have saved you about a year's worth of wages. Up next, we'll give you speakers, cable ties, and sleep glasses. Can you afford to miss what's next? This next hack gives us a very cheap, super cool solution to sleepless nights.
Sleep like a baby.
Let's have a look. Let's look at my phone.
Our screens from our phones and our laptops send out a huge amount of blue light, and blue light keeps us awake.
The way we've evolved is when we see blue, it's daytime.
Oh, it's quite interesting. It's affected the colours.
Now, unless you're a teenager, a 2-year-old, or a vampire, when when it gets dark, you start to feel tired. That's all down to the pineal gland. It churns out melatonin, the beautifully named sleepy hormone that sends you off to the land of Nod. Like those, stops melatonin production, which can keep you awake.
Oh God, I'm so tired already.
I've seen those glasses before in festivals. I never thought they had a use. Turns out they do.
What about changing those orange glasses for some reading glasses and putting your phone away and reading a book? Sorry, Ron, I think I've got a text.
We need absolutely no more encouragement to wear bright orange glasses to bed. This is a huge hit. This clip is for anyone who has experienced the exquisite pain of accidentally unplugging a computer 9,999 words into a 10,000 word assignment. A great quick trick, this one. You don't have to be a fisherman to pull off this simple knot hack, and you'll never be powerless again. This is so simple, but they all are once you know how to do them. This one is a definite hack hit. Headphones getting tangled is the #1 reason for stress in young people, probably. This next clip shows you how to keep your cables nice and neat. Using nothing more than a peg, who uses those anyway, you can rustle up a homemade cable tidy so you're always only seconds away from your favourite musical guilty pleasures.
This is how we store our headphones, isn't it? Hold on. Like that, you know.
I just use Bluetooth headphones, so I don't have wires.
We agreed not to mention the B word, Fran.
We need to come up with a smarter hack that kind of does it for you, that recoils them somehow or something like that, because that's life, that's reality.
Spend a fortune on headphones and then wrap them around an old peg. This one is a miss. Another video and another smartphone now as we send you to musical heaven via a short bathroom break. All you need for this hack are some toilet rolls. And if you haven't got any toilet rolls, then, well, you really should have some toilet roll. Go get some, like now. With a couple of cuts, you've converted your trusty rolls into a sound system that might look weird, but sounds great.
These also make a great pair of pretend binoculars to look for the friends of yours who have wandered off to find something better to do while you're fiddling around with toilet roll.
The way this works is through essentially channeling or guiding the sound waves off the walls of the tube and channeling them down so that when you're facing the tubes, you get a much bigger sound coming out at you.
I do a similar thing to amplify music I'm playing on my smartphone by putting my smartphone into a glass. It's very important to make sure that the glass is empty. I learned that. Took 3 smartphones, but I learned it.
It might not be flash, but it saves the cash. This mini sound station is a hit. Just make sure those rolls are clean. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle. And with his trusty guinea pig Stephen, he'll try anything, so that you don't have to. Harnessing smell is the latest technological trend, with scientists scrambling to be the first to incorporate smells into virtual reality experiences. Earlier, Stephen learned how to transmit smells using a special vortex cannon. Now we're going one step further as we load some odour into a cannon for our supersized smell challenge.
What is this?
This, Stephen, is my giant smell sender.
Right. I mean, it looks like a Soyuz capsule. I thought we were going to go into 1960s space, but...
No.
How's it work?
It's a giant vortex cannon. So I've got a membrane, a flexible membrane on the back there. And when you hit it, it fires a vertical cylinder of air forward that then hits the ring at the front, forcing the central column of air forward really fast.
OK. And then that makes a ring because the air at the edges is going slower?
By creating a ring, the smell is arranged into a shape that can travel much further. Plus, it looks really cool.
So how far will it actually send a ring?
Shall we see?
Yeah.
You head on over there, I'll set it up.
Great.
Experts have sent smells all the way from New York to Paris using cell phones. Or should that be smell phones? No? Anyway, our super vortex cannon is ready to take on these experts.
Right, you ready for this, Stephen?
Hit me with your mystery stink, Mike.
Right, give a few squirts of this. Smells good.
Nearly. Okay. Oh, do you know what? It's perfumey, but I can't work out what it is. What was it?
It's lavender.
Lavender.
Right, let's give the other one a go.
Excellent.
Right. Give this one a go.
Right. It really works, Mike.
By sending them in a ring shape, the smells reach Stephen's nose thousands of times faster, which is good, because this demonstration would be pretty boring if it took days.
Oh, sort of sherbety. I'm getting sort of a kind of a sweet. Oh, it's actually quite nice. It's like it reminds me of sort of sweet shops as a kid, and I'm getting memories coming back.
Scientists claim odours are more strongly connected with memory than even sound or sight. Anyone who has ever been to a music festival toilet will definitely agree with that finding. Not surprisingly, we particularly like smells associated with positive experiences, like Stephen in his sweet shop.
Oh, it's like sherbet, sugar, orangey, cinnamony.
Perfect, orange, yes.
It's orange, is it?
Orange, yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it smells like orange sweets. Oh, I'm really liking this. It really works. I'm on the other end of that barn, and the smell just hits you in one go. What a great hack.
Companies have spent fortunes trying to develop technology like this, and I've done it with a bit of pond liner and a bit of metal. It's the ultimate tech hack.
And with cutting-edge developments in real-world technology, we could all be pinging pongs via text very soon.
Well done, Mike.
Thank you.
That's all the tech we can crowbar into this episode. Join us next time when we'll be bringing you another show full of amazing videos to save you money, time and effort in your journey through the modern world. Bye! We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own super-sized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. This episode is all about extreme sports, and it's what the internet was made for. Some of the most amazing, insane, and well, extreme videos out there.
You see, I get breathless climbing out of an armchair.
Well then, stay where you are, George. Sport is exciting, adrenaline-packed, and physical. In tonight's episode, we're pushing that one step further. We've got every surface covered, from scaling walls to walking on water. We'll also be pulling the trigger and hitting the target in our very own explosive finale.
Hey!
find leafy autumn walks too relaxing? If the answer is yes, you probably need to watch this clip and get some very good health insurance.
All you really need to ski is some sort of slippery surface and a gradient.
And a really, really big pair of ski boots. It's the squirrels I feel sorry for. As anyone with a dog can tell you, leaves are very slippery. The low friction between the leaves and the skis makes them even slipperier and helps these daring athletes fly through the forests.
I suppose this is the kind of global warming future. This is going to be how our skiing holidays will be in sort of 40, 50 years' time. They're just preparing themselves for the eventuality.
Globally, snow cover has decreased recently, so this may become a real problem for skiers soon.
One way ski resorts are trying to counteract the lack of snow is by using a snow cannon.
Snow cannons make real snow, but the process is a little different to how it occurs in nature. Here's how it's done. First, high-pressure air is pumped into the machine. This combines with cold water entering through a second pump. The water and compressed air combine together to make water droplets. These then turn into ice crystals, or snow, inside the gun, which is fired out into the air before hitting the ground. The ideal temperature for making snow is -2 degrees Celsius. So for ski devotees, if it's too hot for a cannon, hit the slopes in your local forest. Just check it's not a big dog walking area. No one wants that on their salopettes. No snow, no problem. This is our first hack hit. If you thought skiing wasn't dangerous enough as it is, how about throwing an active volcano into the mix? This next clip definitely earns the title Extreme. Climbing up the tallest volcano in Europe, then skiing down it. What happened to just going for a jog in the park for exercise? And this surface can be very rapid. You might even call it quicksand. Sorry.
So sand, the maximum speed that's been recorded is 92 kilometers an hour. The black sand which they're skiing on is actually basalt, which is the rock that lava is made out of.
When the hot lava reaches the ocean, it can actually cause the material to shatter due to the large temperature differences. This is what can cause the small particles of sand and the black sand that you see in areas near volcanoes like this one.
Please don't ski on actual lava. It will not end well. Ever look at a horse and think, I'd love to attach myself to the back of that and snowboard? Well, this clip is going to be right in your stable.
A galloping horse can get up to about 40 to 48 kilometers per hour on a good day. Now, if you're running in snow, things are very different. You're more likely to be looking at 30 to 35 kilometers per hour. That's still very fast if you're being towed behind on some skis.
Surprisingly though, horsepower wasn't always used for dragging snowboarders.
The idea of horsepower was come up with by an engineer called James Watt. And it's because he developed these new steam engines that he was hoping could do work in mines. But in order to sell them to the people who owned the mines, who basically used horses for all these kinds of jobs, he wanted to compare his steam engines to the horses that already existed. And thus was born the concept of horsepower.
If Superman was a snowboarder, level terrain would be his kryptonite. But get yourself an extreme horse and you'll be flying. Any ski lift with legs gets my vote. It's a hit. Coming up at Hack HQ, Mike takes his human guinea pig Stephen Grant onto an explosive rifle range. We've already shown you leaf skiing, volcano skiing, and horseboarding. Now have a look at this lot, who took the term rolling waves a bit too literally.
This hack is a combination of balance and multitasking, both of which require quite a lot of thought.
Why exactly is it hard to balance with 8 tiny wheels attached to your feet? Staying upright on a surfboard is tricky enough. What helps is wax. This increases the friction between your feet and the board, and most importantly, makes you look cooler. But add wheels into the equation, and surfing just got a whole lot harder. Why? Because the wheels grip the board, which means you roll off the board instead of sliding. A small but very distinct difference. Believe it or not, this makes balancing much trickier. One false move and your weight will shift from the centre of the board and send you crashing into the waves.
Contrary to some beliefs, nobody is actually able to truly multitask. Even if you don't realise it, your brain is quickly switching between concentrating on the different tasks. However, some people are better at this switching than others.
Roller surfing tests your balance and multitasking. But then again, so does eating on a roller coaster. It's a hack miss, I'm afraid. From one ridiculous aquatic activity to another, this guy can make you a real-life James Bond. Jetpacks for your feet.
Flyboards fundamentally work on the same principle as rockets, which is Newton's third law, and that's that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So as you fire a huge mass of water down out through the flyboard, then you get an equal and opposite reaction and get pushed upwards into the air.
These jets can propel you from underwater to 12 metres up in the air.
You need a huge amount of water per second coming out the bottom to do this, which is why you need a 200 horsepower jet ski sat there in the water.
Jets, water, flying. Yes, I think this is definitely a hit. If the last guy was Aquaman, this guy is definitely Spider-Man.
So what he's done is he's got these magnets, he's going to use them to stick to the side of the wall, and the friction between the magnet and the wall will stop him from sliding off.
If you want a magnet that you could turn on and off, the best thing to use is an electromagnet. And the way you manage that is that you get some wire and coil it around in lots and lots and lots of loops. And then if you want to amplify the magnetic field, you pass some kind of piece of metal through the centre, a metal core. And then when you put a current through that wire, you generate a magnetic field, you create a magnet.
Now here's a way for you to defy gravity. Just make sure the magnets are strong enough, else you'll be more Splatterman than Spider-Man. This clip is for people who want to ditch the lift and burn a few calories.
You see, I get breathless climbing out of an armchair. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could manage it.
This guy is using absolutely no specialist equipment to climb this skyscraper.
Spider-Man, eat your heart out. He's gone one better than even Spidey, as all he's using to climb is chalk.
The tallest skyscraper in the world that was ever climbed was the Burj Khalifa, 828 metres. Now that was in 2011 by a Frenchman known as the French Spider-Man, and he got all the way to the top, which is incredible.
Chalk does an amazing job, but there really is no substitute for skill and experience in climbing. Ever been looking for a bottle opener, but all you could find was an off-road BMX bicycle? Well, this is the hack for you.
I'm going to attach a BMX to my keyring, so next time I'm at a party or an environment where someone needs to have a bottle open, I'm there, I'm ready.
Spinning the wheel generates a lot of momentum in the spokes of the wheel, and when those spokes come into contact with the cap of the bottle, that momentum is passed into the cap of the bottle, and if you're holding onto it tight enough, that will just pop the top of the bottle off.
This is a massive hack hit, and just one more reason to take your BMX to every party. Over at Hack HQ, Mike and his human guinea pig Stephen are creating their very own extreme sports.
Mike,
Stephen,
what are you doing?
practicing my darts.
But today's our extreme sports hack. That's why I thought mountain biking. Brought my mountain bike. We can go out on the mountain bikes.
Today is our extreme sports hack, but mountain bike just isn't extreme enough. We need something a bit more powerful.
What, like darts?
Yeah, well, darts are going to show us how objects move through the air, and we're going to need to know that for our epic hack later on. We're going to be doing target practice with a twist.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Great, well, I'm going to show you that later on, but first we need to know how things fly, and for that we need darts.
Oh, OK, so how do darts fly?
So a dart is a really aerodynamic shape. When it leaves your hand, there's very little air resistance, and it flies in a parabola, which means it goes in a slight curve shape to the dartboard.
That'll be because of gravity pulling it down?
Exactly right. So we apply force to the dart, and that travels towards the dartboard, and gravity is pulling it down slightly. But because it's only a short distance, it doesn't really affect it that much.
So does that affect how we aim?
It is, but we don't think of that, and it automatically happens. So we're quite used to gravity. So throwing a dart, we compensate for it. Want to have a go?
Yeah, definitely.
Go for it.
OK. So, aiming at where I think it wants to go. Oh dear.
Didn't want to go there. Or there.
That's a little bit harder than it looks,
It is, but let me make it harder for you.
Oh, really?
By taking the flights off. Now give it a go.
Oh, no. What's going to happen here?
Wow.
Oof. Well, that was even harder. Why don't they go straight?
Well, they don't go straight because they didn't have the flight on it. Now, the flight adds a tiny little bit of drag to the actual dart. So if it starts to wobble, if it goes up like this, then there's more drag on this side of the dart. So this pushes it into the right direction. Same as if it's on the bottom, the drag's on the bottom, and that's what causes it to stabilise.
So, aerodynamic at the front to go fast,
Yep.
drag at the back to keep it stable.
Exactly right. And air is a really powerful force when it comes to flight. Air.
Hey! Well, thanks, but I don't really need my hair dried right now.
So this airline will show you just how powerful these air currents can be. If you grab hold of that,
Yep.
and a ping pong ball, now try and balance it on the
Okay.
top of that airline. Pretty good.
Pretty easy, I would have thought.
Try again, tilt it sideways.
What? Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's not falling. Look at that. That was amazing.
That's really impressive.
How did it do that?
I'm pleased you asked. Bernoulli's principle. It's the same science that causes planes to fly.
So, how does that work then?
You've got this fast-moving jet of air. This causes low pressure around the ball. Now, when this ball gets gravity acting on it, it moves down into a high-pressure area, and the high pressure pushes it back up into the low-pressure area, causing it to stay in the air.
Right, so you show me how things can fly through the air and how powerful the air can be in changing the direction of objects. I can't wait to try this out on our epic hack.
But there's one vital component that we're missing.
And what's that?
Dynamite, of course.
Oh, Mike, do we have to use dynamite for everything?
Of course we do, because this is going to improve our target practice with explosive results. You ready for it?
Let's do it.
Our epic stunt today uses dynamite to improve your target practice with explosive results. Roller surfing, wall climbing, and actual jetpacks. What could possibly top that? How about a skateboarding baby? Foot archery? Belly darts? You really don't want to miss this. Don't go anywhere, because that's all coming next. Want to speed up your pram technique, but hate running? Here's the perfect parenting and fitness solution.
I've noticed the habit that a lot of people have got of jogging whilst pushing a pram, which seems to be, quite a thing. It always looks like you've stolen the baby, though, I find.
Want to see a skateboarding baby? If the answer to that is no, you need to take a long, hard look at yourself. For the rest of you, I give you...
It's only at 9 to 15 months where kids can actually start to get up and walk for the first time, which makes this child particularly impressive.
By the age of 2, most babies can just about stand on their tiptoes. This guy is standing on a skateboard.
Balance is really important if you're a human because you spend a lot of time on your 2 feet. And we have 3 systems that are specialised to do it.
Our sight, our muscles, and our vestibular system, that is, the little canal of fluid in our inner ear, all combine together to tell us which way is up and which way is down.
You'll rarely hear the argument for babies taking part in extreme sports. But, believe it or not, they're actually better suited to it than adults. Why, I hear you cry? Well, to stay balanced, you have to keep your centre of gravity over the board. This is much easier if you're a baby, as your centre of gravity is lower, which makes toddlers the perfect age to learn skateboarding. With a kid like this, you'll never run out of bragging rights on a playdate. It's a hit! Name the least extreme sport you can think of. I bet loads of you said darts. Well, this next guy proves you don't have to be an overweight lager drinker to conquer the sport.
The way that you can fire darts with this slightly curious contraption is that you can place the cup over your stomach, suck your stomach in, and that sucks air through the tube into the cup. And then if you've got strong enough stomach muscles, you can push that air out very suddenly. That's a pressure wave which travels along the tube with enough force to send that dart flying out the end.
The reason this pin can pierce the glass is primarily down to pressure. The way pressure works is that it's a force distributed over an area. If something's moving very quickly with lots of force, and has a very tiny area like the head of a pin, it can have a huge amount of pressure, and this can do a lot of damage.
I just had a gut feeling about this one. It's a hit. If you thought talking on the phone and typing was multitasking, wait till you see this next trick.
This hack is crazy. It's kind of scary as well. My God, like what she can do. I've never seen anything like that.
In many ways, your hands and feet are actually very similar. Both have very similar bone structures.
With 27 bones in each hand and 26 in each foot, over half the bones in your body are found in them.
As with anything, practice makes perfect. If you practice doing fine, dexterous tasks with your feet, the chances are you'll get better and better at it.
Even Robin Hood ain't this good. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle, and with his trusty guinea pig Stephen, he'll try anything so that you don't have to. It's time to step out onto the range as we try out some very explosive target practice.
Ah, a target.
A target indeed.
What are we doing, Mike?
Well, this is our extreme sports hack. You know, there's nothing more frustrating than shooting a target but not knowing where you've hit the bullseye or where you've hit it.
How are we going to do this?
Dynamite.
Of course.
Yeah.
Silly me. How?
Well, if we put dynamite on the back of the target right in the centre, if I hit the bullseye, it's going to set off the dynamite, destroy the target with a big explosion. I know I've hit it.
They're using a high-powered rifle and long-range bullets, so there'll be no excuses for missing.
OK. How far away, anyway?
100 metres over there in that direction.
Dynamite, bullets, rifle. Is it your birthday?
You would think so, wouldn't you? So what we're going to do is take the stick of dynamite, strap it to the back.
OK.
You tear me off some tape.
Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
Great. OK, good.
Over there.
Right. There you'll be with your rifle. I'm next to the target.
Target set. Time to bring on the guinea pig. Sorry, I meant Stephen.
That looks really quite heavy duty.
They are. So it goes into this gun, and these are .243 bullets. This is the hammer. This gets locked and loaded, and that fires the primer that then ignites the powder and shoots the bullet straight over there at over 1,000 metres per second.
1,000 metres per second is incredible. These really are the Usain Bolt of bullets.
So it's going to be able to reach all the way over there to the target?
Quite easily, yeah.
Oh, right,
yeah.
OK.
And then detonate the dynamite.
Do you want to show me how it works?
Before they do anything, Mike and Stephen need to lock and load very carefully.
That's all loaded up.
Right.
Then we put that underneath. We've got the hammer action, the bolt action. This goes into the gun,
Yep.
into here. That locks down. Put the bullets in, and then we fire. Are you going to go first, or am I?
You choose.
Right, ready for the ultimate extreme sports hack?
Let's do it.
Right.
Ready, aim, fire. Trust me, this looks a lot easier than it is.
If only I knew if I'd hit the bullseye.
This is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
At least we know we don't have to go up there and have a look.
this is true.
This hack is working already by virtue of the fact that you're bad.
Keep that chat up, Stephen. You'll go in a minute, mate.
Hey! Hey! You know when you hit the target.
Oh, you see, you've saved us the journey.
I know.
It's incredible. So how does it actually blow up when what happens?
So this is going at over 1,000 metres per second. That hits the dynamite, it breaks up the bonds and detonates it.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
The dynamite detonates when enough energy triggers a reaction. Enter Mr. Bullet.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, of course.
Fabulous.
There you go.
All right, Stephen, let's see how fabulous you are.
Where did that go?
I think finding that bullet would take a whole extra episode. Let's just leave it, eh, Stephen?
Load it up again.
Then down. OK.
Perfect.
Try and get it. OK.
don't even know where that went.
See? So much easier. We don't need to walk down there to see whether you got the bullseye. You got it, you know. Epic extreme sports hack.
It's true, all that spare time I'd be spending right now looking to see if there was a little hole in the middle of the target. No need for it, I've blown it up.
Perfect. Well done.
A truly epic extreme sport that saves you time when you're on the range. We've skated, surfed, climbed, boarded, and jetpacked our way through the world of extreme sports. Now, go and have a nice cup of tea. We'll see you next time on How Hacks Work. We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own super-sized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is How Hacks Work. This time we're taking a leisurely look at the fascinating world of hobbies. Since the dawn of time, we've always tried to entertain ourselves in the most fun ways imaginable.
It is really important to do something that you don't get paid for, which you love.
Hobbies are as wide-ranging as people on the planet. And so, coming up, we've got some videos to take them to the next level. From sewer fishing to making music without an instrument in sight. And in the workshop, we'll be getting ready to show any paintball enthusiasts out there how to up the stakes on the battlefield, heroically demonstrated by our guinea pig Stephen. Our first hobby will definitely cause a buzz. And solve that age-old problem. How can I transport all my bees without endangering the local public transport system?
That's actually very dangerous. He's on a bike without a crash helmet.
The reason this hack works is because these bees aren't actually attacking him, they're drawn to him, like a magnet.
Or a moth to a flame, or a bee to a flame. Do bees like fire? I'm confused.
They're actually just trying to swarm around their queen, and their queen is the bee that's inside the pendant around the guy's neck. And they know where she is because of something called pheromones. These are smells that the queen is giving off that the bees can detect.
In fact, bees are constantly communicating, especially when they're hunting for their favourite nectar. Special female bees, called worker bees, search high and wide for the best flowers and tell the other bees how to find them. By dancing. It's called the waggle dance and works like this. First she gathers an audience by vibrating her abdomen. Once all the bees are paying attention, she begins the dance. The duration of the waggle indicates distance to the nectar source. The longer the waggle, the further the flower. The angle she dances tells them the direction of the flower in relation to the sun. The dance can direct other bees to nectar over 15 kilometres away. This beekeeper is clearly dedicated to pursuing his hobby, even if it means harnessing the forces of nature itself. A hack hit! And now for a hobby which will definitely leave you feeling drained.
Hot dog, strawberry flavored. I got some rope because my line kept breaking in the last one, so I'll come back later, see what we catch.
Strawberry flavour hot dog? Is that a thing?
Looks like it, George.
It's horrible.
Luckily for this keen fisherman, though, he's not looking to snag any sewer-dwelling Georges.
So what we have to realise in this video, it's not quite a sewer, it's a storm drain. And what storm drains do is they collect excess water coming from the roads, but also coming from nearby waterways.
This may account for the impressive catch. Thank you, James. But there's still something fishy about how this person knew a strawberry-flavoured sausage was a catfish's favourite snack. For the discovery alone, it's a hit. And just in case you thought passing your time fishing could get a bit dull, our next clip shows a fresh take on this hobby which gets straight to the point.
Well, it ain't pretty, but it'll work.
I didn't even know bow fishing was a thing.
Fishing reels are thought to have originated in China in the year 1195, but they didn't make it over to Europe until the 1600s.
Like a watery Robin Hood, our hunter uses stealth, guile, and a fully loaded plastic bottle to stalk his prey. Fully loaded with the bluntest homemade arrows in the world by the looks of it. As if living as a brown trout in a swamp in Idaho wasn't unpleasant enough, now they have to contend with crazed plastic bottle-wielding archers. I'm sure in his head this guy looks a lot cooler than he actually does. Although this definitely looks more satisfying than normal fishing, it looks far less effective, and those homemade arrows are definitely not hitting the target. A miss. If reaching for the stars sounds like it could be your favourite pastime, this clip will show you how to pursue this obsession without having to take out another mortgage.
This hack is kind of like the realisation of a boyhood dream. Like, I've always wanted to make my own hot air balloon and go up into the sky.
A mannequin flying over a field in Russia tied to a hot air balloon. I think you're eating too much sugar as a kid, Ali.
Hot air balloons fly by decreasing the density of the air inside the bag. The low density air rises over the cold, denser air.
Why has the pretend man being taken up in the hot air balloon, why has he got a bottle of cola and a straw?
This hobby may be good at getting weird, scary mannequins airborne, but for any other flying objects in the area, it definitely has some strings attached. A miss. Coming up at Hack HQ, we'll be going from hot air to compressed air as we learn how paintball guns actually work. Ready for Mike and his human guinea pig Stephen to go head-to-head in our Ultimate Hobbies Challenge. So far we've shown you the beekeeper's answer to FedEx, how to fish your dinner from the drain, and how to follow your hobby into space. Now our clips are taking on a different note, musical notes to be precise. If being the next Jay-Z sounds like your cup of tea, but you don't have access to his ridiculously expensive studio, our next video shows any budding musicians out there that there is still a way to follow their passion.
I like my pits. They're so comfy.
My initial thought is it does seem a shame if the focus is on the trouser area that one of the sounds in there wasn't a...
Well, one of them had to go there.
He's making a song about his pants, using his pants. That's quite good.
Music made just with trousers, plus all that music, the musical instruments that he used as well for the music part.
This guy's talent has legs. By layering separate sounds from his trousers, he stitched them together to make sweet, sweet music, proving there is definitely at least one way to have fun with your trousers on.
'Cause they're just pants.
It's a #1 hit. But if all of this feels a little below the belt and you still want to pursue your sweet-sounding hobby on the fly, then this next clip is just for you, even if it is a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Come see the incredible lizard boy.
The human tongue is made up of 8 different muscles, and it's in a similar construction as an elephant's trunk or an octopus's tentacle.
The problem with using your tongue is you've got a lot of saliva on it, which means you're actually covering a very large surface area on the phone. It's an option. I'll stick to using my hands.
Boring. If you like playing with your phone, this is an absolute game changer. A hit! Everyone knows music can make money, but if your favourite hobby is record collecting, this clip proves money can also make music.
I really like the way this hack combines the old and the new polymer note versus the 70-year-old polyvinyl chloride record. Fantastic.
I thought this hack was super interesting. I've only ever known vinyls to work using a really hard material like stainless steel or diamond.
With the cost of records these days, it's a wonder this guy had any left over to play it with. Nevertheless, this is a money-grabbing, music-making hit. Ones do, this next video shows you some great ideas on paper. Finally, the answer we've all been waiting for: how to cut through confectionery with a power tool and avoiding that nasty metal aftertaste. Hurrah!
If you look at paper under a microscope, what you see is it's quite ridged and it's more like a saw.
It's all about the momentum. Momentum equals mass times velocity. So it's that momentum that could cut the object.
Finally, a power saw without the risk of horrific mutilation. A paper-thin hack hit, as long as you don't need to cut anything stronger than a small cola bottle. Over at Hack HQ, Mike is tinkering with paint and compressed air in preparation for our epic hack. That sounds fun for us, bad for guinea pig Stephen.
Hey, Mike.
You all right, Stephen?
I'm excited about today. Persian mink, Tibetan sunset. We're going to get this workshop looking like the working environment you should be in.
That's all very beautiful, but today is less about your painting and more about paintballing, because it's our hobbies hack.
Ah, paintballs. Right, so these are paintballs,
These are paintballs, yeah. So these are gelatin balls. They've got a capsule that bursts really easily when they hit you, and then they've got a paint that's water-based so it can wash off easily.
And how do we fire them then?
Well, we fire them from a gun with compressed air.
Oh, OK.
So I'll show you compressed air here. Here's our paintball. Fire it along, boom, off it goes.
Ooh, well, that was surprisingly powerful. So how does the gun work?
So the gun works in exactly the same principle. You've got a compressed air canister inside the gun. You've got a hopper of paintballs. You cock the gun, the balls fall down into the barrel. When you pull the trigger, it releases a little mechanism that fires the ball out with the compressed air.
Well, there's only one question left to ask then. When can I have a go?
Well, let me show you first of all. Come round here, put your glasses on. Right, I cock it, the ball goes in, and then fire!
Ooh! Came out really quick.
It's really quick. It's up to 300 kilometres an hour. That's as fast as the bullet train in Japan.
That is really going to hurt.
It is really going to hurt, and at close range, that can cause bruises and welts.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, for our epic hack, we've got to upscale it, haven't we? So I've upscaled our paintball gun massively. We've got 14 barrels of mayhem. It's going to fire all those paintballs at high pressure towards you at great velocity.
It's completely over the top. It's you. But how are you going to get compressed air into this massive hole at the end?
I'm so pleased you asked. I've got my trusty CO2 fire extinguisher. This connects onto the back, the CO2 goes into the compression chamber, and all 14 barrels fire at the same time.
OK. I can't help feeling I'm at a bit of a disadvantage here.
Totally.
So long as I get out of the way of that, I'm going to be OK?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, so long as it's just that, I know what to avoid.
Yeah, I've got a couple of other things up my sleeve, though.
Oh, great.
Join us later on when we'll see just how big Mike's gun is and just how fast Stephen can run. So all you hobbyists, you've learned how to make music with your clothes and your money, and how to entertain yourself with your tongue. But if you're still after some more tips to help you on your way to hobby hack greatness, then look no further. If you're lucky enough to have more than one hobby but can't find the time for both, our next clip may hold the answer you've been waiting for.
This kid is successfully pulling off nerdiness and sportiness at the same time. He is a genius.
Rubik's Cubes are solved using algorithms. This is just a set of instructions that if you follow, you'll eventually get to the solution.
So how do you solve a Rubik's Cube? Besides peeling off all the stickers, there is an actual science to it, apparently. It comes down to 5 not so straightforward steps. The simple first step, the hot cross bun as we've decided to call it. Easy. Secondly, all you have to do is finish that cross to make it all white. Still with us? Thirdly, you need to solve the middle layer. Is this helpful? I'm just telling you what you need to do. No idea how to do it. Then fourth, solve the top face. No idea. Oh yeah, this is really easy. Finally, if you got this far without crying, you're nearly there. One final push. Come on, I believe in you. And if that is too much hassle for you, try just throwing it out the window.
When I was a child, I would think that is the perfect way to get a girlfriend, that sort of skill set.
A kid who solves a Rubik's Cube while doing keepy-uppies is clearly going to be some kind of superhero one day, so I'm going to have to award this one a hit. And if you thought that hobby video finally proved that men can actually multitask, wait till you see this next clip.
Multitasking is an illusion. We cannot multitask. We can fool ourselves into thinking that we are multitasking with tasks that we're very practiced at. Driving's a really good example of that. You feel like you can just drive and chat away and you're doing two things at exactly the same time.
This golfing supremo proves that just when you think you've mastered your craft, you can suddenly find yourself in uncharted waters.
It feels like this guy has bought all these things on eBay, and a few days earlier his wife's been saying, "What did you buy these for? You never use them."
To do this well, you will need to have really good balance and really good hand-eye coordination. But for those of you who don't have either of those, you can practice them.
I like the idea of surfing, but I'll probably be awful at it. Pretty quite buoyant though.
This guy has found a way to maximise his free time, performing two sports simultaneously. A hit! Golf is one of the most popular hobbies in the world, so we thought it only fair to include more than one hack to help you get the most out of this old school pastime. Combining those two famous poolside activities, golf and table tennis, this pair has scored a hole-in-one on holiday entertainment.
If you look deep into the inflatable flamingo's eyes, you can see it. You can see the pain. You can see it thinking, I've been watching these idiots try doing this for the last 6 hours.
These guys have nailed that pool holiday boredom problem with a great new hobby, a hit! How many people have actually ever used a leaf blower for blowing leaves? Exactly, none. So this lady has found an even better use for it, and I think this might now be my favourite hobby.
So it's my day off today, so I thought I'd have some fun with this. Let's see how this turns out.
What is it they say about idle hands being the devil's workshop?
Say hello to my little friend.
I guess pranking is a hobby, and in this case, she has nailed it.
By teaming up a giant loo roll with a leaf blower, this lady has not only found another use for a toilet roll, but an actual use for a leaf blower.
Her boyfriend seems very unamused by it. I don't think they're very well matched. She needs someone who's a bit more light-hearted.
Bye, babe. Do you want to clean all that up? Love you.
This hobby trailblazer lady is the hero the internet needs right now. Although her boyfriend might not agree. A huge hit. Leaf blower clips are like buses. You wait for your entire life for one to turn up, then two come along at the same time. But this leaf blower hack uses an ancient hobby and is ever so slightly more sporting than the previous one. Setting up a huge pool table in your office takes balls, and here they are.
It's the precise engineering that's going into something so frivolous. It's just, that's how engineers do it. It's brilliant.
I thought it would be quite good for playing chess, but I tried it and it was hard to tell who won.
These guys won't even let work get in the way in pursuit of their favourite hobby. Whatever they're getting paid, it's probably too much. But risking it all to practice their favourite pastime is definitely a hack hit. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong, and no bridge we won't cross. Mike, with his trusty guinea pig Stephen, will put any hack to the ultimate test. Debunk, demystify, and deconstruct so that you don't have to. Earlier, Mike pimped a humble paintball gun into a super-sized cannon. But no weapon modification is complete without testing it out in the field. If only Mike somehow had access to a human willing to let himself be shot repeatedly with paint. A human guinea pig, if you will. Wonder where we'll find one of those.
Welcome to my hobbies hack.
Oh yes, your highly fortified fortress. What have you got in there then?
Well, I've got a few bits and pieces. A gun, obviously the cannon.
Oh yes, the cannon. I remember the cannon.
And I've built this beautiful obstacle course for you to get through. You've got to grab your flag and run back without being hit.
Okay.
But as we're out here, we may as well give it a test run.
Can I put my mask on first?
No, I don't think there's any need, so I'm not going to shoot you just yet. That would be completely unfair on the game, wouldn't it? Wow.
Okay. So where's my gun?
Your gun's down the other end.
Right.
So get your mask on.
Right.
Head on down there and, of course, beware of those little surprises along the way.
Oh, brilliant.
What Stephen doesn't know is that by little surprises, Mike actually means explosive paint grenades.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go for it.
Mike, you can't show us a huge multi-barrel paint cannon and then not fire it. Don't tease us.
Running safety.
Right. I'll get you quite a bit up to reach there behind that tree in your fortress with all your weapons. That's it. Yeah. Here's for all the stuff you've done.
You're going to have to make some kind of move now.
Ah!
Mike has only gone and set off all his booby traps. Poor Stephen. Oh, and again, Stephen's going to be very sore after this.
Right, I'm going for the flag.
I knew he wouldn't have really forgot.
Cannon time.
That had to hurt.
Yes! Yes, I made it back without being hit. Well, maybe once or twice, but nonetheless, I think I'm the winner. Oh dear, I've been hit quite badly.
Might have got you once.
Okay, I won, yes?
Well, technically, you got your flag back home.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you didn't really... Well, you did sort of get me, didn't you?
I shot you about 100 times.
Is that a lot of times? Is that a lot of times? I'm not 100% sure. The thing is, the reason why it hit me, I think, partly down to technology and partly down to the fact that you did it at point-blank range.
Well, you know, advantages.
No, but I still think I won because right at the beginning I got you crack in the middle of the forehead, you see, which would have made for a very short game, but one where I would have won nonetheless.
Barely a flesh wound.
Can I point out as well, actually, your hidden surprises were a little bit more hardcore than I thought.
A little bit. They made a bit of a bang, didn't they? So
I thought you'd have an extra gun or something. What was it?
These were my little booby traps. So inside I put a maroon, a little bit of explosive charge at the bottom, and then packed it full of paintballs. I placed them in strategic areas so that when I saw you, press the button, bang, got you right in the back.
Well, you must have felt great about that. And
I
then there was
certainly did.
smoke screens as well.
Yeah, well, I tried to cover your flag with smoke, but obviously didn't work too well, did it?
No, because I managed to get the flag. So, yeah, well, you shot me a few times. We're going to call that a draw?
I covered you in paint.
Draw?
No.
All right, then, my win. Either way, as hobby hacks go, that was epic.
So there you have it, an ultimate guide on how to make your hobbies even more exciting, crazy and enjoyable than ever. Join us next time when we'll be hacking even more everyday objects and pursuits to give you another set of amazing tips. We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own supersized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. In this episode, we mean business, quite literally, as we show you how to really boss it on that next work trip. If you hate going away and want as smooth a ride as possible, we've got just the hacks for you.
You can try and reduce your own experience of turbulence by sitting over the wings of the planes.
Look no further for the most ingenious solutions to your infuriating business trip troubles. From packing like a pro to pimping your in-flight films. And a hotel breakfast fit for a CEO. Plus, we'll be putting 2 custom cases head-to-head in a high-octane race around the airport in our epic hack. The secret to every great business trip is a well-packed suitcase. Not sure what philosophers said that, but I agree. Here's our first top tip. Ever since the Great Migration event of Homo erectus 2 million years ago, humans have struggled with how best to pack their stuff. This hack solves that ancient problem. It's all about the roll, a bit like clothing sushi.
I'm someone that's really, really bad at packing. I always bring too much stuff and it never fits in my suitcase, so next time I go away I'm going to be trying those folding techniques, definitely.
While it's practical, it feels like it takes an awful long time. So I imagine the person, if they're maybe going away for a week's holiday and they're leaving on Saturday, they'll have to start packing on Wednesday.
You can never be too meticulous with packing though, George.
You've got 2 ways of packing. You can stuff it in or you can roll it up. The problem with stuffing it in, you're likely to get a lot of creases in your clothes. But if you roll it, you minimise the creases and you reduce the amount of air that's trapped in the clothes. Overall, you can fit more stuff in.
Roll up, it's the first hack of the show, and it's a hit! You've made it onto the plane with your brilliantly packed bags, but there's no in-flight entertainment. Don't worry, we've got a hack that means you won't have to resort to reading. Voila! A budget hands-free entertainment centre that you haven't had to mortgage your house to afford.
I guess, the fact that his phone is inside this plastic bag means that he's not going to spill coffee on it. It's hands-free entertainment. So yeah, I guess it's a reasonable hack, but I'm slightly worried about his toiletries.
Still, if it's a choice between hygiene and entertainment...
I've done that thing where I hold the phone for the whole journey. I've got off a plane before and literally haven't been able to move my arm. It's kind of locked in that position. So something that does support it in front of you is a good idea.
So with this hack, even turbulence won't disturb your latest TV binge.
Well, air turbulence is caused by variations in air density as the plane flies through the air.
Aeroplanes travel on wind flow. Most of the time, luckily for us, it's smooth, making for an easy flight. Until you hit choppy air and feel the all-too-familiar bumps of turbulence as the plane is buffeted around. This can be due to physical obstructions, like mountains. As the air flows over the top and travels down the other side, it creates waves in the air. Turbulence in the air can also be created by storms. The rapidly changing air currents can lead to a very bumpy ride. Changes in temperature and air density can also be responsible as you move from land to sea, or hit a different temperature air mass.
You can try and reduce your own experience of turbulence by sitting over the wings of the planes, because the fronts and the backs of planes tend to move the most during turbulence.
Just make sure you book a window seat so you can see those wings that are preventing you from plummeting thousands of feet to the ground. You'll never have to read that awful in-flight magazine again with this boredom-busting entertainment hack, a high-flying hit. Boring plane journeys are a great time to grab some rest, and here's a great way to maximise your mile-high nap time. With this simple fold technique, your trusty hoodie will transform, as if by magic, into a pillow. This makes those tiny pillows they give you look even more useless.
The question is, would a businessman bring a hoodie on his business trip? You might budge to bring a pillow.
He would if he was like a really cool businessman, Chris.
I think it's very practical. I worry that maybe it's going to be a bit dense. I know certainly when I've been camping before, I've tried making clothes into pillows and it's just a bit too, it's like putting your head on a football.
I'm quite a big fan of the shoulder of whoever's next to me, so I don't really need the travel pillow as much as others.
This hack is dedicated to anyone who's ever travelled with Andrea.
I find it quite easy to nap, but it's not really very practical because I'm usually the one driving.
Now, it goes without saying that the one thing that all airplane passengers fear the most is, of course, missing the food trolley. But why does food taste so much different up in the air?
When you're on a plane, you might notice your food tastes exceptionally bland, and this is due to a huge range of factors. The biggest one being it's really dry on an aeroplane. It's actually drier than most deserts, and that affects how we taste things.
Eat, hoodie, sleep, repeat. A perfect comfy hack hit! But how do we know which of these hacks are really worth your time and effort? Coming up over at Hack HQ, with the help of Mike's human guinea pig Stephen, we'll show you how to get through check-in at record time as we put 2 super hacked suitcases to the test in a race like no other. So far we've shown you how to get ahead with packing and a great way to stay switched on in the skies. Stick with us though as we consult the internet for a blue sky ideas session of hacks to keep you on top of the work food chain. First impressions in business are everything. This shirt ironing hack will make sure yours won't be memorable for the wrong reasons. So how does this housework hack work?
The reason creases form in clothes is down to the tiny strand-like molecules called polymers that make up the fabric. When these are all bent up, they tend to stick together, and when that happens, you get creases forming.
With this hack, the person has put their shirt in the shower, and that's then heating the material again and getting it wet again. And so that allows the fibres to then relax, the bonds then break, and then reform because the material is hanging. They reform in the new flat position.
Some wrinkle-free fabrics have been specially designed to stop water getting between the little polymers, which means they won't crease nearly as easily.
For the travelling multitaskers amongst you, this shower time hack will decrease as you degrease for that next business meeting. A time-saving hit. If your attempt at the last hack failed miserably, you'll now be left with a soaking wet, albeit creaseless shirt. Here's how to dry it like a boss.
It's kind of cool, but you feel like you'd probably just go out with a damp shirt whatever happened.
Hate to be the voice of doom, but I think I'm with Andrea here.
To get your clothes to dry quickly, you need to have 3 factors right. That's temperature, humidity, and a movement of air. If you can have low humidity, high temperature, and lots of air movement, your clothes are going to be dry in no time at all.
Pretty much rule 101 of business is, don't go out in soaking wet clothes. A moist miss, I'm afraid. Luggage is probably the most important item in any business traveller's possession. How about doubling that up with your mode of transport? This case will suit any business person in a rush, and with reinforced wheels, it's guaranteed to take the strain so you don't have to. How is it moving though? Magic? Sadly no. There's a motor installed at the bottom of the case. Obviously.
Passengers walking around the airport terminal can walk up to 1 kilometre, which can be about 20 minutes. On one of these pieces of kit, you can cut that down to a 7-minute fun ride. Who would say no to that?
Maybe someone who thinks somebody they know might see them.
He probably won't save time not being in a car because it looks slower than a car. But certainly getting around in the airport, oh yeah, he's going to be a lot quicker.
But it does bring about a whole new meaning to the term speedy boarding.
A wheelie good hack for any business traveller. Just don't pack anything fragile near the seat. A high-octane hack hit. We're We're pressing the pedal to the metal now at Hack HQ as Mike and Stephen put the Formula One into our business trip epic hack.
I'm looking forward to today. Business hacks, that's what we want, business. 21st century. The world I was brought up in, water cooler meetings, I'll talk to your people, I'll email it to you. Not the Mike's world of just crud and stuff everywhere and just, oh, I'll throw an engine in and blow this up. This is what I want, this is the future. I can teach him a few things, maybe space age instead of Victorian age. That's what I want.
I'd love to see you trying to teach Mike a few things.
Mike!
Stephen.
Hello, mate.
How you doing?
I'm fine, I'm business trip ready, suited, suitcase. Where are we off to?
What did you think we were doing?
Well, I thought we were on a jolly.
Jolly? Have you ever been on a business trip, Stephen?
This is our business hack, right?
Yes.
And I thought, business trips. How do you make your life easier on a business trip, going through an airport?
Oh dear. And I'm looking at these two now and I've suddenly realised these aren't normal suitcases, are they, Mike?
Of course not. Why would they be?
Not at all. So what I've done here, I've got one for you.
Right.
And one for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yours looks a little bigger.
I'm saying nothing.
A little bit. So mine has got a 125cc petrol engine.
Every engine has a cylinder, and its volume is measured in cubic centimetres. That's what cc stands for. The bigger the cylinder volume, the more fuel the engine can burn, and the more power it can produce.
Right, okay.
Brilliant. Yours, on the other hand, is based on an electric mobility scooter.
Mobility scooters don't run on petrol like Mike's. They use electricity from a battery which powers a motor and turns the wheels.
Right, okay. Well, look, you know, I know what you like. You like putting together your hacks. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with that. And there's a coffee cup holder and a parasol. Why?
Well, a coffee cup holder in case you need to grab a coffee in the airport.
When would I ever do that?
When you want a coffee, Stephen?
And the parasol because of your, you know, pale complexion.
Yeah, but the only reason I've got a pale complexion is every time I see you, the blood runs out my face in fear of what we're about to do. I mean, look, OK, fine, this looks silly. What am I going to do, carry it around everywhere with me?
No. Come with me.
Coming up, a real-life Mario Kart on suitcases. And if you don't want to stick around for that, then why are you even on this planet? We've seen a smart way to dress sharp and a tumble dryer hack that left us in a bit of a spin. Still to come, top tips for lost keys. And a cooking masterclass in a humble hotel room hack. If you like winding down with a wine, you may be caught off guard with every travelling worker's nightmare, the wine stain that cannot be removed. This hack is your salvation.
This is a classic. This is a real classic. I like this one because it works.
Normally a good sign in a hack.
To be honest, I think putting white wine on a red wine stain is just a big waste of wine.
A business person with 2 bottles of wine open at the same time? Bet they don't get much done.
The reason this hack supposedly works is because of the alcohol content. Now, alcohol is actually quite good at dissolving stains, but you need a lot of it to work properly.
This hack works even better if you can use stronger alcohol. So something like gin or vodka would be even better at getting that red wine stain out. But just make sure you're using a clear coloured alcohol, otherwise you're just going to make the stain even worse.
And remember, if you're raiding the minibar for this, check the prices before you open anything. So the stronger the alcohol, the better it is at stain removal. But how does alcohol remove the stain? Alcohol molecules have 2 distinct parts, a non-polar group and a polar end made up of oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen atom is slightly negative and the hydrogen is slightly positive. This is because the oxygen nucleus attracts the electrons far more than hydrogen. And when there are lots of polar molecules together, the slight positive and negative charges are attracted, creating weak interactions. There's a saying that like dissolves like, and lucky for us, lots of stains have polar molecules too. This is how they're dissolved by alcohol. This hack works, but having to open increasingly stronger booze in order to get rid of a stain is a recipe for disaster on a business trip, a muddled miss. If you're a sensible business traveller, you'll have a padlock on your suitcase. If you're very sensible, you'll use it. And if you're not sensible, you'll lose the key. This hack is for people in that last category, and me.
People can do that. I didn't know you could do that. That's insane. God, so many people have asked me if they could borrow a pen, and I've said yes.
I think this was amazing. How could you not think this was amazing? I'm the type of person who loses my keys to locks if I lock stuff. This is brilliant. This is ingenious. I would absolutely use this.
Only use this on your own suitcase because you shouldn't steal. You shouldn't need me to tell you this, really, should you?
Zips work with this kind of series of interlocking teeth and grooves. So if you can jam a pen into the middle and open up one of those grooves and zips where they've locked into each other, then you can get in.
I'm actually going to use this, because often I do forget keys.
So the pen is not only mightier than the sword, but it gives padlocks a good beating as well. A case hijacking hack hit. If your boss has put you in a hotel where the breakfast buffet looks like a prison canteen, this next hack will help fill you up. An iron, ridiculously, can be used instead of a hot plate or a toaster, and a kettle is a great replacement for a pan. The water reaches the exact temperatures needed to scramble your eggs. Just maybe give it a couple of rinses before you start.
This is a fantastic hack, but this guy's definitely going to lose his room deposit.
First of all, looking at this, what a brilliant idea. And what a brilliantly executed hack.
Is George looking at the right video?
If you want to get nice brown crispy bacon and that nice brown bread as well, you need to get over 140 degrees Celsius. You get something called the Maillard reactions, which is where the proteins and the sugars in your food start to react together to give these delicious smells, and that's what you need from an iron.
The flavour of mushrooms when they've been cooked on an iron, the steam holes of which are rich with streaky bacon fat, is just absolutely delicious. And the faint hint of linens is just you can't get that in a normal conventional pan.
We all need something to get us going in the morning, and some studies have shown that having a good breakfast can help your levels of concentration and help your short-term memory. But you've got to be careful not to have too much, because, well, unsurprisingly, too much food just makes you sluggish.
This hack is absolutely insane. Making eggs in a hotel room kettle and steaming mushrooms on an iron is ridiculous, unsanitary and inefficient. So yeah, it's a definite hit. If you're the type of business tripper who always worries about hotel security, look no further than the contents of your nearest minibar to put those concerns on ice.
In theory, I really like this. I think this is excellent. I like to hide money all around my house, and that looks like a good... But in practice, it feels like she just spent about 10 minutes hiding a really small amount of money.
Every little helps though, Andrea.
I tend to keep my money in the till of the nearest bar.
OMG, me too!
Cola has an ingredient called phosphoric acid. Lovely. And whilst that won't necessarily ruin your money, if you drop coins in there, it would do a really good job of shining them up. So maybe it's a good thing after all.
This hack is good if you want very small amounts of money very shiny. No? Oh, okay then, it's a hack. Miss. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong, and no bridge we won't cross. Mike with his trusty guinea pig Stephen will put any hack to the ultimate test. Debunk, demystify, and deconstruct so that you don't have to. Earlier, Mike showed us how to power up the humble suitcase with a speedy airport aid. Now it's time to get serious, kind of, as Mike and Stephen go for the ultimate suitcase slam down in our epic head-to-head check-in chase challenge.
Mike, you said we were going on a business trip.
And this is my airport.
I'd love to know which airport this is based on.
It's your farm. The only thing in the air here is horse fart. What are we going to be doing?
Right, we're going to have a race. Okay. And we're going to start now, so pack your bag.
Oh, what?
That seemed like a very fair start, Mike.
Come on, Teddy, don't get hurt.
For Mike's airport race, the lads must pack and rush through an obstacle course as quickly as possible. So just like going on holiday then. Don't forget your teddy, Stephen.
Come on, Teddy. Sorry about this.
He brought that in from home. Mike's petrol engine means he's off to a turbo-boosted start.
Okay, do it this time. Okay, go. Yeah!
Time to grab a quick coffee en route. Make it an espresso. Wrong way. Mike's 2 wheels versus Stephen's 4 gives him the edge on corners, as well as literally everything else. The tiny electric motor is no match for petrol in speed either. What is this hack proving again? That a motorbike is faster than a suitcase? Did anyone not know that?
Buy coffee.
This one is in the bag, or should I say hand luggage.
Right, yeah, I'm still with a shout. Hang on. Teddy's got you, Red.
Maybe I spoke too soon.
We've got you, mate. Household winner!
That was a complete fix.
Who's that? Oh, Mike. I forgot about you. I got through the winner line. What's that, Teddy? Oh, yes, Mike's the loser. What a nightmare. Bye-bye. Teddy says bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hello. Multiplicity suitcase wins the day. Ooh. Who said winner? I said winner. Who's that winner?
Let's just say you're as much of a winner as anyone who talks to a Teddy on telly can ever be.
So, business hacks then, Motability suitcases. How good are these? I think you've absolutely nailed it. Brilliant.
The only problem is I don't think we're going to get through airport security, do you?
No, but when they chuck you out, you'll be able to leave in record time.
He can put a spin on anything.
This is true.
We've come to the end of our hack-filled work trip, and it's safe to say I think we've taken care of business. See you next time. We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own super-sized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. Strap on your boots, fasten your wooliest hat and dust off those skis, because in this episode we've tracked down some of the greatest winter holiday videos. From building your own enchanting frozen snow globe, to giving your bike a winter-friendly budget makeover. And punching frost out of a window. So if you prefer Siberia to the Seychelles, you're going to want to pay attention.
I think everyone likes snow. Who doesn't like snow?
Train drivers, taxi drivers, camels, quite a few of us actually. Join us in a real winter wonderland as we show you some extreme winter sports, ingenious cold weather tips, and snow dogs. Because it wouldn't be a collection of entertaining videos without at least a couple of dogs, would it?
I don't know how much fun dogs usually have in the snow, but this dog looks like it's having quite a lot of fun.
And later at Hack HQ, we're going to show you an epic hack for when your winter getaway gets super icy. You won't want to miss that.
Okay.
Stay vigilant, people. We're starting with what could become the greatest winter holiday sport in history. Watch and learn.
Get up! Yes! Oh yeah! Another fire!
And the wife is not happy.
With the impending global warming and extreme weather conditions, we're going to have to adapt our sports to the environment. And these people are just staying ahead of the curve.
Not sure his wife would agree with you, George.
So whilst we might imagine that water can be very fast moving, snow can actually also move very fast in the form of an avalanche. And we know that snow in an avalanche can move up to about 160 kilometres an hour.
This hack works because there's very low friction between the undersurface of the kayak and the snow, because snow is a very low friction substance.
Which means that an object such as the kayak can move across it very easily.
Which is very lucky for idiots everywhere. This hack doesn't help anyone and doesn't solve any problems, but it'll definitely add a lot more fun to your winter break. It's a hit! Have you ever wanted to build your own winter holiday home, Eskimo style? You have? Well, this next video shows you just how to do that. Well, kind of.
You let Mother Nature take care of business. Next thing you know, it's covered up and your little ones are going to let the fun begin. They're going to have a good time. They'll stay nice, toasty, dry on the inside, make a little clubhouse. They will remember this igloo all their life.
It's actually pretty difficult to forecast when it's going to snow because we need to know very precise data about the temperature of the air and the temperature of the ground.
Anna, you should be a weather presenter. You'd be the only one who's ever told the truth.
To be honest, I think like real igloos are much more impressive. But hey, I'm not judging.
Sounds a lot like you are judging, Ali.
An expert igloo builder can put up an igloo in about an hour's time, which is very short, but also you probably don't want to spend too long in the cold building your igloo before you get inside.
I'd love my job description to be expert igloo builder.
I remember trying to make an igloo when we were children, but it was London and it was very poor snowfall. And we managed to make one course of bricks and then we'd used up all the snow.
Ordinarily, building a shelter out of snow may not seem like the smartest idea, unless you want to turn up the heat on your winter holiday antics. So how can something as cold as, well, ice, keep you warm as toast? The secret is in the bricks and mortar. Igloos are made from very tightly packed snow, which contains lots of tiny air pockets, a great insulator. They're more akin to a Roman amphitheatre inside, although people tend to dress far less provocatively in an igloo. Anyway, with impressive tiered levels, people sleep at the top and the cold air sinks conveniently to the bottom. Just don't roll out of bed. Finally, it's all about the period features. An open fire is an absolute must. Just don't forget the smoke hole, otherwise you might suffocate to death. Better or worse than freezing, we'll let you decide. This attempt, though, is basically a flimsy tent covered in snow. I'm just not so sure it would impress fellow holidaymakers on the slopes. It's a miss. This clip proves that despite freezing cold temperatures, it's still possible to pursue the more traditional forms of recreation off-piste. This impressive hack is the result of a lot of patience. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Honestly, it's coming, I promise.
I really appreciate the existence of such a tiny fishing rod.
Or is it a small rod? Is he actually a giant man and that's a giant fish? Worth investigating further.
It really isn't, George.
In freshwater, fish tend to go to the very bottom of frozen lakes and rivers, and weirdly, this is where the warmest water is.
At first, a tiny rod catching a big fish looks cool, but sitting on a slab of ice for hours on end while the rest of your mates hit the slopes isn't my idea of a holiday. It's a miss. Coming up at Hack HQ, Stephen learns about the states of water during cooling and freezing.
Wow.
Before Mike fires up his flamethrower for his epic hack to de-ice your car in winter. We'll be back in a minute. I'm just off to call the insurance people. So far, we've shown you how to kayak through the snow to your very own igloo before heading inside to catch yourself some dinner. You didn't think we'd stop at 3 though, did you? Turns out the internet is full of people who love winter holidays. Parenting is tough, so if you've just had an adrenaline-fueled day on the slopes, you probably want to chill instead of struggling with your child's snow boots. Here's a hack that will save time and stress when you finally get off-piste. This dad has done a job that normally takes around 73 hours in about 1 second, and managed to keep his daughter highly amused at the same time. This is most definitely a hit. A snow globe is the classic winter holiday memento. But if, like most of your fellow Earthlings, they also remind you of a different kind of smashing winter break, this next video shows you how to really quickly make a replacement next time disaster strikes.
Bubbles themselves don't last very long normally, so you need it to freeze fast. We're looking at about minus 20 degrees Celsius to get it to freeze all over.
You've got a layer of water trapped between 2 layers of soap. And what happens is that water freezes before it can evaporate.
It's one of nature's phenomenons that when it happens, it's brief and it's spectacular.
Our hack has shown you how to make a snow globe from a frozen bubble. But when it comes to the more traditional snow globe, and one that lasts a bit longer, there's a secret to making them come to life. It's not just snow and water in there, it's a mysterious mix of ethylene glycol, that's antifreeze to you and me, and water. Oh, and the snow? That's soap flakes or plastic. Makes you feel all Christmassy, doesn't it? Having a mixture of water and antifreeze means the liquid inside your snow globe has a higher viscosity or thickness, which slows the fake snow down. As gravity pulls it down, this gives the snow globe its wondrous quality, and it's slow enough for oohs and ahs from delighted children. Our clip is more of an ice globe than a snow globe, but we like to think just as impressive. It's a definite hit. Good news, car owners! Want to know a quick trick to removing ice from your car windows? Beat them into submission.
Glass actually doesn't conduct heat very well, so it's going to get cold more easily. The second thing is that also to do with moisture, so we're going to have much more moisture that builds up on the glass, which can freeze into ice.
Other liquids that you can use to de-ice your car are other liquids that have a lower freezing temperature than water. A good example is vodka or alcohol. So if you don't have any de-icer, you can always use a bottle of vodka on your car instead.
Not very cost effective though. This looks cool, but if you want to avoid the risk of breaking your car windows and your fingers, probably not the most effective way to de-ice your car. So it's going to have to be a very impressive miss. Now, if the novelty of de-icing with your fists has finally worn off, let us whisk you away to Hack HQ, so you can learn a little bit of science behind the art of antifreeze.
Mike.
Stephen.
So, there's your ice. What are you doing getting me to get you ice? It is freezing out there. That's not helping.
It's cold, but it's not cold enough. I've got this water and I need to cool this down to sub-zero, because today's hack is all about winter holidays, and in particular ice, and how to get rid of it.
I'm assuming you don't mean just throwing this in a hot bath. I'm assuming you mean defrosting, like freezers and car windscreens.
Exactly right. We all know that ice is a big problem. And water freezes at 0 degrees. So if I put this in here, with the thermometer, I can see that that is under 0 degrees at the moment. Now you can add chemicals to it, like salt, which will reduce the freezing point of the actual water.
As the salt forces the ice to melt, the bonds that are holding the molecules together are broken and released as heat energy. And as that heat leaves, the remaining ice gets colder.
Right, look at that. That's instantly down to minus 16, minus 18.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Brilliant. So that's why salt is such a good de-icer.
That's right, Stephen. When salt is added, it makes salty water on the top of the ice. And that salty water needs to be much colder to freeze. This means the ice keeps melting but can't freeze back again.
Also, we're left with all this super cold water. What can we do with that?
Actually, that's super cold water. Thank you, Stephen. And at -8 degrees Celsius, this salty water is the perfect Baltic temperature to super cool some pure water for Mike's next parlour trick.
Now at the moment, there's no impurities in this water and there's nothing for the ice to form around. It needs an activation site, so it needs a tiny little bubble for it to freeze around, cause a little ice crystal.
How do we do that?
By hitting it.
Wow.
Did anyone see that? Transparent water in a transparent bottle turned to a very, very, very slightly less transparent ice. Eyes like a hawk, me.
That's amazing. So how did hitting that turn it into ice?
Just in case you didn't believe him the first time.
Right, so it created a tiny little air bubble that then formed a crystal of ice around it, which then propagated like a domino effect through the entire bottle.
Amazing.
Turning it all into ice.
Incredible.
Okay, another way to show you this. Super cooled water. Put some ice on the table. I'm very careful of opening this. Pour this super cooled water onto the ice.
Pouring the super cooled water onto the ice works a bit like tapping it to make a bubble. The ice cube creates a place for new ice crystals to grow, and they form super fast.
They'll instantly turn back into ice.
That's incredible.
Okay boys, enough fun and games. It's time to get to our epic winter holiday hack.
So our winter holiday hack is going to be about removing ice using salt.
No, we're going to go one better than salt. And for that, we need some serious firepower because we're going to be de-icing a car in seconds.
Join us later for the epic hack, which definitely deserves the label epic. Wait and see. Things are about to get very heated. So far on our winter holidays episode, we've seen the quickest snow boot removal on Earth, the coolest ice removal on Earth, and the prettiest snow globes on Earth. But don't leave the planet just yet, because coming up, we have dogs on ice. Need I say more? Now, what's cuter than a husky puppy? A husky puppy that can entertain itself in the snow while you sit back and enjoy your favourite winter tipple, of course. Training this pup to pull the sled back up the hill was impressive, but let's see how easy going he is when he's grown into a wolf-sized winter predator.
I don't know how much fun dogs usually have in the snow, but this dog looks like it's having quite a lot of fun.
Huskies actually have two different coats of fur, which actually make them very well adapted to cold conditions.
Huskies also have lots of fat reserves in their skin, and that's great because fat is extremely energy dense. It holds a lot of energy. So by siphoning off energy very slowly from those reserves, they can keep their body temperature up and keep moving for ages and ages and ages.
I've got about 7 coats and I still can't handle the cold. This both saves physical effort for the owner and increases time spent looking at dogs in tiny snow sleds. So obviously, this is a massive hit. If you ever find it difficult balancing your favourite winter holiday sport with your responsibilities as a pet owner, this video is just for you. This time it's the dog who has his humans very well trained.
Dogs have an amazing evolutionary adaptation to deal with the cold in their feet.
Why don't we have that? Nature can be so cruel.
To be honest, dogs are a bit better designed on walking on snow than us humans are.
Dogs have a special system built into their paws, which is amazing. What they have is a way of pooling blood in the bottom of their feet. And blood is warm, so that keeps their feet from reaching 0 degrees.
Another reason dogs are better than humans. A way to impress your fellow holiday makers on the ice in the company of man's best friend. It's got to be a massive hit. If you like riding your bike in snow, then you're already far braver than I will ever be. And you deserve a tip, so here we go. Before you go online to order those snow tyres, check your kitchen drawers and try this hack out first. With just a few strategically placed cable ties on its tyres, you can turn your humble push bike into an all-terrain winter holiday beast.
This hack works by increasing the surface area of the tyre using cable ties. The theory behind this is that by increasing the surface area, you increase the grip between the surface of the tyre and the ground.
If you put the plastic ties around the tyre, then you're creating more of this friction because it's got something to grab onto, which means that it can pull the object across the ice more easily.
I wonder if you can get big enough ones to go on car tyres. I suppose you can. I might even try it next time there's snow.
I think it'll be safer for everyone if we stick to using bikes for this hack. Thank you, George. After a couple of silly ones, this one is actually very sensible and very useful. Just be careful with those scissors. Hit! So cable ties on wheels decrease your chances of falling off a bike in the snow. If you want to massively increase your chances though, have a look at this next video. For people who love the thrill of skiing, but also like the comfort of sitting down, this bike-ski combo could be for them. This would certainly make the commute to Santa's grotto more interesting.
I really like this one because I'm a cyclist, but not a skier. Like, he's not going to win any awards for speed, but it goes, doesn't it?
This is ingenious. I've done the same thing with my car. I've glued a big tea tray to each of the tyres, and it works just as well.
Can someone check George's driver's licence, please? Quick!
The reason skis slide in snow is because the pressure they put on the snow actually generates a little bit of energy, enough to melt the very top layer. What you end up with is the compacted icy layer below and a fine lubricating layer of water. This means the ski slides nicely over the top.
Two of the most dangerous pastimes combining into one mode of winter holiday transport on the most hazardous terrain known to man? Yeah, alright then. A hit! Now the time has come to head over to Hack HQ to see, if we dare, what Mike has planned. Armed with a workshop, a human guinea pig and a can-do attitude, Mike is committed to putting any and every hack to the test, so we can stand a safe distance back and learn from him. Here we go. Earlier at Hack HQ, we saw how water can be carefully stored and returned to solid state, and learned why salt is used for de-icing roads. Now though, it's time to give de-icing the epic treatment, as Mike and Stephen head out into the field again. You might want goggles for this one.
So this is my ultimate car de-icer.
Wow, well, it looks like a normal car-ish. What's all this?
Apart from all these little things, yeah. So these are my flame projectors.
Flame projectors?
Flame projectors. They're going to shoot flames, 8 meters worth of flames, directly at that windscreen, de-icing that instantly.
I guess it's just a lot colder than it looks where they are, because I can't see any ice. When Mike wants to play with a flamethrower though, he'll make anything up to get what he wants.
Okay, 8 meters of flames.
Yeah.
De-icing this seems a little bit over the top. This is better than salt?
Far better than salt. It does it instantly.
So how does it work?
Okay, so this all runs on propane gas.
Propane.
The propane's fed through these pipes. We have a pilot flame here, which produces a little flame with the propane,
Right.
which then in turn, through the solenoid valve, ignites the big jet of propane.
Okay, so the pilot flame is making the bigger flame come out, but what's the solenoid valve then?
The solenoid actually switches it. So this opens up a valve that lets all that propane at high pressure come out, bursting out that window.
Okay, bursting sounds dangerous, but this is going to be better than salt, is it?
So much better than salt. This would do it in seconds. However, it won't lower the temperature of the ice.
The ice is definitely there. Right, Mike.
Right.
So it may freeze again quite quickly.
Oh yes, because it's so cold there, I'm getting chills just looking at them.
Which means we'll get to the experiment all over again.
Absolutely. Should we do it?
Yeah, fine. Here?
This way, much further away.
Right.
Right, so I just need to go and light the pilot flames.
Okay.
We'll get onto it.
I'll stay here.
You stay there. Right, they're all lit.
Okay.
You ready for this? Instant de-icing.
Well, let's get the car ready for the road.
Right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. And it has. It's cleared the windscreen.
It's cleared the windscreen completely in seconds.
I'll be honest with you, I thought it was going to crack it.
Well, me too, to be honest. And I tell you, if it was a couple of degrees lower, it could well have cracked it. That change in temperature with the heat going on the windscreen is exactly why you shouldn't pour hot water onto it. It can crack it instantly.
Oh, OK. One time I'd have wished it was a little bit colder.
Do you want to go?
I'd love to have a go.
I feel so much warmer myself.
Oh, I mean, the windscreen wipers are on fire, but apart from that, it seems like a really good solution. I think you left the gas on.
Right, should we go and turn that off? Right, let's just turn the pilots off. Now, you've got to admit, that was the ultimate in winter holidays hacks. It cleared the windscreen in seconds.
I will admit, the windscreen is fine, and it's clear, and I thought it might have popped out. That might need to polish out slightly. I think that might affect the resale.
I don't think anyone noticed that. No. So the key thing here is we've solved an age-old problem of clearing a windscreen in seconds. Why do it with ice or anything else? Just use flames.
I'll admit, iced-up windscreens are a standard winter problem, and this is a fabulous winter holiday hack. But for me, Mike, in the future, I'll stick to de-icer.
How boring.
There you have it, an epic solution to a very boring problem. And that brings the icy shutters down on our winter holiday hacks episode. So wrap up warm and remember to join us next time for more amazing tips, science and hacks to get you through life. Scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own super-sized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. This episode is all about parties, so get your best playlist on, dust off that Hawaiian shirt and put the drinks on ice, because we've got some of the most fun, fabulous and fantastic tips to help your party be the talk of the town.
I've been known to go to parties, but I'm the sort of guy who generally hangs out in the kitchen next to the fridge.
That's one way of staying cool. We all love a party, but the stress of throwing one can mount up. So we've put together a load of hacks to help you let your hair down in style. From show-stopping drinks to the coolest cups on earth.
I'm not a fan of party decorations. I kind of think that the people and what they do are the decorations, which means they're kind of gross.
And in our epic hack, we'll show you a quick-fire way to get rid of some unwanted after-party mess in an explosive instant.
You know what? That was really loud. I think that's a great way to pop loads of balloons and also clear a party.
To get this party started, our first clip will show you how to pour your favourite fizzy beverage with grace and panache instead of all over your guests.
Bubbles in fizzy drink are carbon dioxide. This is gas that's been dissolved in that liquid at very high pressures.
By hacking a hole in a can, you can avoid these annoying bubbles forever, making sure that the only things getting messy at your shindig are your guests.
As the liquid comes out of the can, it creates a vacuum behind it, and that has to be filled with air. The only way for air to get into the can is through the opening of the can, which means, in other words, it glugs. Glugging makes more fizz because it causes the liquid to move around much more violently.
By cutting a hole in the back of the can, the air can get through the back instead of the front, so no glugging needs to happen. In other words, the liquid drops out nicely with minimal fizz.
Any hack which means you can spend a few more hours in bed instead of the dreaded after-party clean-up is a massive hit. If impressing your guests with a visually spectacular but ultimately fairly pointless drink dispensing display sounds like your kind of thing, I've got the vid for you.
A Rube Goldberg machine is basically a contraption that massively overcomplicates a really simple task.
If this show had a middle name, Anna, it would be Overcomplicated.
I've seen quite a lot of Rube Goldberg machines, but this one is particularly nice.
The largest drinks fountain ever contained 50,116 glasses, which is over 1,000 loads in a dishwasher.
I think with a lot of these clips for this show, a lot of them are sort of silly, frivolous, just, mucking about kind of things. But then occasionally, one comes along that you watch and you think, wow, that has got a really practical application in everyday life. This isn't one of those.
I agree with George for once. If you have this much time on your hands, you definitely need a hobby or a job. A mad, manic miss. It's a nightmarish world not worth imagining. But if you ever host a party without a bottle opener, this hack may just save your reputation.
Why I haven't thought of this before, I do not know.
Because you've got a bottle opener?
This hack works in a very similar way to a conventional corkscrew. You use the fork as a lever in order to get some traction on the top of the screw in order to pull the cork out.
A lot of people think cork is just a manufactured product, but in actual fact it's natural. It comes from the bark of the cork oak, and it's harvested every 9 to 12 years.
Wouldn't Chris be brilliant to have on your team in a pub quiz? Whether you're more likely to have a screw and a fork than a bottle opener is anyone's guess. But when the chips are down, this hack is an absolute corker. You've heard of skating on thin ice. How about drinking from it? Here's the perfect solution to keeping those summer party drinks cool. But please don't put your drink down and forget about it. It could result in a nasty slip on the dance floor.
So by putting water in between the two cups and then freezing it, you're able to recreate the shape of a cup in ice.
I made some of these, but I was really disappointed because when I put them in the dishwasher, they just disappeared.
Avoid the pain of smashed glass by making your glasses freezing, extremely fragile and hazardously slippery. An ice-cool hit. Coming up, Mike and Marcus get gassy as they show us the best way to handle balloons at a party. Before unveiling the epic hack, an awesome way to get rid of them all at the end of the night. So far we've shown you an epic drink pouring technique, a corker of a bottle opener and an ice-cool drink container. But let's hit the internet to see what other party tips it has for our impressionable minds. If ordering James Bond's favourite cocktail doesn't quite feel cool enough, here's a video which will definitely give you a license to thrill.
I introduce to you a wonderful hack about creating your garnish ice cubes.
It's all about the speed at which you freeze things. You can basically freeze anything as long as you freeze it fast.
And if you remember one catchphrase from this whole show, make it that one. This very easy martini hack will leave you shaken, stirred and freezing. A chilled hit. Every great party deserves a great lighting display. A high-speed ceiling fan? Cheap torches tied to it with a string? A dark room? Yeah, nothing's going to go wrong here.
The difference between these different kinds of light is its wavelength, and that's the same in different colours of light as well. So a blue wavelength is shorter than a red wavelength.
Light is the fastest thing in the universe. It travels at 300 million meters per second. If you were travelling at the same speed of light, time would literally stop for you.
Budget-busting pyrotechnic display or borderline insane use of domestic torches. Oh, go on then. A fun-filled hit. Now, if you really want some watermelon juice, but hate how supermarkets sell it really conveniently in easy-to-dispense cartons with no mess, this hack's definitely for you. Just cut a hole in the top, mush up the insides, add a tap, and you've got watermelon on demand. Yes, this hack is literally cutting a hole in a melon. Welcome to the future. If you think making a melon into a drinks dispenser is fun, wait till you have to clean it all up after you've managed to squeeze 2 small glasses of juice out of it. Warning, this definitely does not work with oranges. what a way to serve juice.
Yeah, watching this one. Meanwhile, at the brain surgery school.
Watermelon is very good for you. It contains lots of important vitamins and minerals, like most fruits. But one of the things that it does contain is choline. Choline is used to make up lots and lots of really important things in our bodies.
I always say the key to any good party is a decent dose of choline. Watermelons didn't always look like they do today. In fact, ye olde watermelon would have made a pretty poor drinks dispenser. Back in the 1600s, watermelons looked like this. So what happened to them? It turns out that humans have selectively bred many of our fruit and veg to look totally different to what they do today. Peaches used to look more like cherries. Today's perfect peach is juicier, sweeter, and a whopping 64 times larger. But perhaps the most amazing of our frankenfruits is the corn on the cob. We've supersized it 1,000 times. They say big isn't always better, but we always say when it comes to fruit-based drink dispensers, it definitely is.
Watermelons can range in size from 1 to 90 kilograms, and the world record is 156 kilograms of watermelon.
You might have heard a few years ago the Japanese were making square watermelons because they just wanted them to snack better, which makes perfect sense.
I've never been to a party where someone has requested watermelon juice, so for that reason and many, many more, this is a messy miss. Are you a fire starter? A twisted fire starter? You will be after this next video.
If you don't even have candles, pour a little of olive oil in a bowl and drench some paper towels in the olive oil.
This hack works because oil is more flammable than just paper on its own. So oil ignites at around 93 degrees Celsius, whereas paper will only ignite at 233 degrees Celsius.
What you're doing is heating it up so the oil vaporizes, and this means it reaches the flash point, which is the point at which it can ignite and burn.
Keep those fires burning and those coals turning with this flaming hot hack. A hit! If you struggle to keep your party guests entertained between courses, what you might need is an animated table. What's that, you ask? Keep watching! Playing an interactive cartoon on your dining table is a great way of stimulating conversation at your party while bringing a whole new meaning to TV dinners.
The way this hack works is they've actually built a screen into the table itself, so they're just shining up this animation from underneath.
I think there's so much potential with animated tables. We have this surface that we eat off every day and we don't utilise it to the maximum potential. There's so much we could do.
I think if I was at a dinner party and this sort of thing was happening, I'd question what they'd put in the pre-dinner drinks.
Whilst this is very clever, encouraging your guests to stare at the table for too long probably isn't the best way to get your dinner party off to a swinging start. So I'm afraid I'm putting my foot down and saying this is an impressive miss. While parties may be fun, clearing up after them certainly isn't. But one person who's found a nifty solution to this is our Mike at Hack HQ.
Mike!
Marcus!
As you can see, I'm ready for our epic party hack. What you got in store for me today?
I'm guessing something messy, impractical and hilarious.
Today is our party hack, and you can't have a party without balloons.
Indeed. Well, unless you're over the age of 9.
Yeah, but after a party, you got to go around popping all the balloons. It takes ages, and there's loads of mess.
Yeah, well, I've got a hack later on that we're going to get rid of the balloons instantly, and it's all to do with the gas that we fill it with.
OK, so what kind of things can we fill a balloon with?
We'll get blowing.
Oh, all right.
So you can obviously inflate them with your mouth. Or we've got some other gases, like carbon dioxide, that you can make with household chemicals, like bicarbonate of soda. Chuck some of that in.
Is that the same sort of stuff you use to make cakes?
It is, exactly right. Let's chuck a load of that in. And then vinegar, a very weak acid. So if I pour the vinegar into there, you get a reaction between the acid and the alkali, and that produces carbon dioxide, which, look at that, an instantly inflating balloon with carbon dioxide.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool, but I still think that this is winning. What else can we put in a balloon?
Right, so we've got some other gases. A very unreactive gas, like carbon dioxide, is argon.
All right.
So if I fill this balloon with argon...
Why do you want an unreactive gas in a balloon?
So you want an unreactive gas so you don't have any surprises at your party. You want something nice and unreactive so it doesn't blow up accidentally. Argon is an element, and it's a noble gas, so it means it's really unreactive. It barely reacts with anything.
Okay.
Carbon dioxide is a mixture of carbon and oxygen. There we go.
Right, that's looking a bit better than my balloon at the moment, right?
Filled it a bit quicker than that one, that's for sure. All right, tie a knot in that. You hold on to that one. See how that one floats.
That was a little bit disappointing, mate.
Lead balloon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So
literally.
you've got a really dense gas in there, so it's much denser than the air around it, so it plummets to the floor and bounces.
Okay, cool. A denser gas in a balloon means that it basically drops straight to the floor. Cool, but I want my party balloons to float, Mike.
So I've got another gas here, helium. Right. Now, if you turn that valve on the top, yep, screw that in. That's it. That fills up really quickly.
Yeah. Good?
That's a good sized balloon, yeah, thank you. Right, tie a knot in this one, and then you see how this one goes.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of party balloon I need. Way better than this.
Much, much better. And it's a non-reactive gas, so it's nice and safe at your party.
Cool. So different types of gases work with balloons differently. So a heavy gas would make a balloon drop to the floor. Something like helium that's light goes up, but we want them to be unreactive.
We want them to be unreactive.
Right, so even though helium's cool, you're saying we need a light reactive gas for our epic hack.
Exactly, so the hydrogen is light, just like helium, but it needs to be reactive, and I'll show you later on why we need that.
Join us later when we show you the ultimate hack for a task you had no idea needed one in Mike's balloon popping epic hack. In our fun-filled party episode, we've already shown you how to serve the coolest party drinks, a show-stopping music display, and how to entertain your next dinner guests. Coming up, we really crank up the entertainment factor with a macabre music hack, a cool way of chilling your wine, and the party popper to end all party poppers. This video will definitely make your next Halloween party playlist bone-chilling. If you didn't think playing vinyl was quirky enough, how about doing it with a skull?
Yeah, this is a clip from the video 101 Ways to Summon the Devil.
If you look closely, you can see a little wire going down by the bird's beak. That sharp implement is feeling the ridges in the vinyl, and then it's going to what's known as a contact microphone.
Information about the music is encoded in the grooves of the record. And as the needle gets pushed over them, it vibrates in a specific way.
So records are made from a type of plastic called polyvinyl chloride, which most people know as PVC. In the past, it was actually made from shellac, which was a lot more brittle and had a good chance of breaking.
So what is shellac? Shellac is made from the secretions of a tiny bug called the lac beetle, which lives in Asia. The beetle feeds from sap in trees, which is transformed in their body and excreted almost constantly while they eat. The shellac is scraped from the bark of the trees and heated till it liquefies. It's then filtered to remove bark, bugs and impurities. The thick, sticky shellac is dried and broken into flakes to be sold as a natural form of plastic. As well as making early records, shellac's flakes can be dissolved in pure alcohol to make nail varnish and wood sealants. So next time you're playing the Beatles, thank the Beatles. I shouldn't, but I'm going to say this record is a hit. The only thing more infuriating than no wine is warm wine. So here's a way to quickly get the temperature down on your favourite party tipple.
I've done this and it does work really well. And I learned it years ago, and I always do it with newspaper.
We've all been in that situation. You haven't cooled your wine or your vodka down with enough time. And so if you cool down your cloth, wrap it around, then that means that when you put it in the freezer, the cloth is going to conduct the coolness much better than the air. And so it's going to cool down your wine or your vodka that little bit faster.
My thought with this clip, watching it, is it's red wine he's doing it with. Does he know nothing?
For the party host who has remembered nearly everything, this is a vintage hack, a hit. Bread and cheese, knife and fork, yin and yang. Some things just go well together. And for this show, parties and poppers are a marriage made in heaven. Looking more like a weapon from Mad Max than a party accessory, this is one serious piece of kit.
Could you just have a huge party popper rather than lots of small party poppers? Or is that a bomb?
This hack is really simple. You take like a hairpin lever, attach all of the party poppers on one side, all the strings to the other side,
When you pull on the string, it rubs the gunpowder paste against the paper, and that small amount of friction creates a small amount of heat, and that heat is enough to set off that gunpowder.
Was it worth all that effort? Probably not. Did it get a big cheer and make everyone laugh? Yes! Then it's gotta be a party starting hit. If you absolutely hate balloons after a party and want to see them not only cleaned up but destroyed, this next hack is for you. Let's just ignore the fact that getting them all in a massive line like this probably takes 43 times the effort of just picking them all up in the first place.
Pops one, then the other, then the other, then the other. Will it go? Will it not go? And I just don't think I've been in that much suspense for like 20 balloons all in a row.
It's not really cleaning up, is it? I mean, it's making loads more mess.
Laser actually started off as an acronym. So it was light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. But lasers that produce light completely by themselves aren't technically light amplifiers. They are optical oscillators. So lasers shouldn't be called lasers. They should be called losers.
This looks more like a mass execution than a fun party hack. It has to be a miss. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle. And with his trusty guinea pig Marcus, he'll try anything so that you don't have to. Earlier at Hack HQ, we gave you an explosive science lesson showing how different gases behave when used to inflate balloons. Now it's time to show us how to call time on any party with our amazing balloon-popping epic hack. And knowing Mike, that's probably going to involve something a lot more complicated than a pair of scissors. Might get my goggles on for this one.
All right, this looks all right, Mike, but how are we going to get rid of them?
This is Mike, so I'm guessing the answer isn't going to be wait till they come down by themselves.
So pleased you asked. In these balloons, I've got a light, very reactive gas.
Right.
Hydrogen.
Knew it.
Pop on your ear defenders. Now, when I light this, it burns.
Whoa!
Explosively.
What happened there?
So, my blowtorch, it melted that balloon, which caused it to burst. Now, inside there was hydrogen. Oxygen in the atmosphere reacts with it, ignites with the blowtorch, and a big bang.
OK, so hydrogen and oxygen mixing with a little igniter means you get a big explosion.
Exactly.
Whoa. I could feel it.
You really can, can't you? I can do better than that.
Better than that?
Much better than that. So if I combine the two gases, the oxygen and the hydrogen, in one balloon, it would be a much bigger explosion.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Mike.
Are you ready for this one?
Got no choice, Mike.
No, right. You ready?
Guess so.
That was nuts!
Seriously violent, isn't it?
Rough childhood.
What made that so much more violent?
So that had the hydrogen and oxygen combined inside the balloon. So as soon as the energy from the blowtorch hit that, it exploded. Didn't need to mix with the atmosphere.
So if you combine the gases first and give it the same little ignition, you get a much more violent explosion.
Much more violent explosion. But of course, I can't do it to all of these. So these are just filled with hydrogen.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool, but you still have to go around popping them one by one, though.
Aha! I'm going to do away with this and pick up my electrical firing system. Now, you'll notice that each balloon has a little igniter on it. So that provides the energy, the heat to actually pop the balloon and set fire to the hydrogen. All I need to do is press the buttons and kaboom, they're all gone.
All right.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Right, a bit further away, I think.
Let's take a step back.
And ear defenders on. Right, OK, so the firing system is armed.
Right.
All I need to do now is press the buttons. You ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Of course, to avoid having to use this hack in the first place, you could not fill your balloons up with highly reactive gases.
Yes! All right, you might have missed a couple, but that was awesome.
I can sort that out. Couple of party stragglers. But yeah, so the firing system, it provided just enough energy to pop the balloons, set the hydrogen on fire, and clear them completely.
Look, you know what? That was really loud. I think that's a great way to pop loads of balloons and also clear a party.
Yeah, so all that's left now is sweeping up.
Yeah.
Leave you to that.
What do you mean?
Here's a broom.
All right, cheers, Mike. Cleaning again, eh?
Find your jacket, get your taxi booked, and order one for the road, because that's the end of our party episode. We hope you'll put to good use this arsenal of festive hacks. We'll see you next time. Party on! We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own super-sized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. In this episode, we're reaching for our rucksacks and heading for adventure as we unearth some of the best survival tips the internet has to offer.
There is a rule of 3, which is we can survive for 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food.
From starting fires to bow hunting, you'll be running around like Rambo, or at least thinking you look like Rambo in no time. And for our epic survival hack, Mike, with the help of human guinea pig Stephen, will be showing us how to turn up the heat on your next adventure.
We've always got to put effort in to show how much it takes to start a fire, and this is much easier.
Finding food is key to surviving in the wild. But anyway, rather than listen to me droning on, let's meet a man who brings a whole new meaning to fly fishing.
Oh my gosh. Holy cows.
I absolutely love this clip, mainly because of the guy catching the fish, but also because the science involved is quite interesting. I can't believe he brought in that giant fish with that tiny little drone. Fantastic.
Holy crab apples.
This is absolutely my favourite clip, purely on the joy in that man's heart when he realised he'd caught a fish.
Oh my gosh! Marion!
It's always a good sign when the guy giving the demonstration of his invention is visibly shocked that it worked.
I was impressed with it. I did think actually that's a good way of getting, because if you're casting a line out from the beach, there's only so far you can get, but you go with the drone, you can get a lot further.
Marion! Marion!
I can't believe she missed it.
Come here!
Big fish, tiny drone. How does that work?
You'd have thought you need a giant drone, but the reality is you're not actually trying to lift the fish up vertically, which is what you might really think about a drone. You're trying to move it horizontally, so you've cut down the force required by a huge amount. So in reality, if you wanted to pull in a small whale, it's not out of the question. It's just you might have to wait a really, really long time to get it to the shore. So a drone could do it if you're a very skilled drone operator and a fisherman. How he caught it before dragging in the fish, I have no idea.
Didn't think anything was going to work, let alone a fish. This is the biggest fish of my life. Go. And it's off.
This one definitely raises the sport of fishing to new heights. A sure hit. Unless you're a fish, obviously. No modern survivalist leaves a house without their phone these days. They're loaded with maps, information, radio contact, and survival gizmos to rescue you from any sticky patch. Of course, if you don't charge them, you may as well be carrying around a very small, very expensive brick. This next hack helps turn your humble watch into a life-saving directional device.
Of course, I'm indoors, so that makes the sun thing trickier.
Surely this is only a useful way of finding your way if you're aiming for either the Arctic or the Antarctic.
I like to get out to the Antarctic at least twice a year, actually, Laura.
So when we're in the northern hemisphere, the sun is always pointing south at the middle of the day. However, when you're in the southern hemisphere, you're looking at the sun from a different angle. So actually, in the middle of the day, the sun's pointing north.
North is always the way I'm facing. So north well, honestly, it keeps moving. North is... North.
I would 100% not want to be lost in the woods with this man. This hack is only handy for people who know where they're going, which is not very common when you're lost. An utterly useless miss. But how do we know which of these hacks are really worth your time and effort? Over at Hack HQ, Mike and his trusty and very trusting guinea pig Stephen are going to be using all their survival instincts to show us some epic hack work. I just hope Stephen actually survives. Making fire is Survival 101, and at our very own Hack HQ, Mike has a few tricks up his sleeve to help turn up the temperature around your campfire. Over to you, Mr. Firestarter.
Right, we're going to make some fire. And I've made a pump drill to do this.
See, I looked at you and I heard you say the word pump drill and I got excited and I looked down and I saw that. What is that?
Right, let me show you, okay? That's the hole we're going to start with. Now, this is called a pump drill.
Right.
And it basically drills when you pump it.
Oh, that's why they call it a pump drill.
So this makes fire how?
Come round here.
Right.
Grab hold of this.
Yep.
Not this, no this.
This?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to twist this.
Okay.
So it brings it all the way up. And then you're going to pump it down.
Yeah.
And with this turning around in the circle, you'll pump it down again and keep pumping away until we start fire, okay?
Right, all right, okay.
Right, got it?
Got it.
Look at that smoke!
Ah, damn! The only time I ever do this motion is with a coffee percolator, and I push it down once,
right,
and then I go and have a coffee.
All right.
Rambo really does have nothing on you, Stephen.
Mike.
Yeah.
Please make it stop.
I think you just gave up too soon, to be honest. Anyway, I've got some much better things to show you, so...
What, so we're not going to make fire anymore?
No, we'll make fire, but I've got some much easier things.
Easier?
Oh, yeah.
Now was the time...
Look, come with me, I'll show you.
Coming!
We'll return to our very own Hack HQ cavemen later in the show. So far, we've shown you how to catch your lunch.
Marion!
And how not to get lost if it all goes south.
North.
But still to come, we've got a swinging rope hack and some hunger and thirst busting hacks to send your way. Food, drink, rope. Honestly, what more do you need? Water. Pure, life-giving, crystal clear, heavenly water. Except when it's all dirty. Then it's horrible. But this hack will help you turn the filthiest water back into a life-saving tipple. And it's all thanks to evaporation. When the sun's rays hit the water, they transform the surface layer into a gas, which rises up into the top bottle before condensing back into water. This clean water then collects in the top bottle and voila, a refreshing drink.
This water might look quite clean because actually everything that was visually dirty about the water will have been left behind when the water was evaporated. However, bacteria are so small that they will actually get carried in the small droplets of water into the top bottle.
So even clear water isn't quite as transparent as we thought. Honestly, can you trust anything in this world?
I would drink the dirty water and just let nature take its course. Ah! That's hydration.
No, Russell, that's desperation.
There is a rule of 3, which is we can survive for 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food.
It's really important you don't get those mixed up. With no water, you soon become dehydrated. This can make you feel really tired, but that's not all. It can also give you a headache because your brain temporarily shrinks and physically pulls away from your skull. You also stop producing saliva, and this can give you really bad breath. With less water in your blood pressure drops, so your heart tries to boost it by pumping faster and faster. And, bringing up the rear, dehydration can cause toilet troubles, such as dark urine and even constipation.
I'd 100% drink that water, yeah. I'm quite lax about water and stuff. I just assume it'll probably be all right, which is an error because I have irritable bowel syndrome.
Yes, Laura, a huge error. There is no way a hack that literally stops you from dying is not going to be a hit. Ask any survivalist and he'll tell you he doesn't go anywhere without a good rope. But if you're in a rush for some rope, here's how to make one and save the planet at the same time.
What are you going to do with that? You can't tie that in a knot. That's going to cut your fingers to ribbons. I don't know if this man has used rope before or is familiar with the concept of rope. This isn't rope.
It struck me that this is a very eco-friendly way of binding the wrists or ankles of a hostage.
It sounds like this rope isn't up to much, unless you're an eco-friendly kidnapper. Is plastic really the way to go, though?
I don't really understand this hack. I think it's a great way to take off a thumb, but I think there's lots of fibres in nature, bits of plant and things that make a much better rope.
This rope hack really does leave me hanging, I'm afraid. A huge miss. There's nothing more embarrassing than dying of hunger in the wilderness because you've forgotten your tin opener. Luckily, someone's come up with a solution to avoid this embarrassment.
What he's doing is putting a lot of force on the top lip of the can, and he's bending it backwards and forwards. Some metals, if you flex them a lot, they become stiffer over time, something called work hardening, and that causes the can to ultimately break open. You just need to put a lot of energy in.
This one I think is a strong life hack. This is great. However, the noise of that can going back and forward on the rock.
You could join in a German industrial band, you know? This makes great music. Yeah, it's fun.
This can-do can hack proves as long as you've got a lot of time, you don't always need the right tools to get a job done. It's a hunger-busting hit! Eventually. Back at Hack HQ, the lads are still messing about with fire. Can someone just take those matches off them?
So, have you got like a degree in fire?
No, I'm a fully certified pyrotechnician.
He is, I've seen the certificate. He carries it around everywhere.
So, in the world of life hacks, fire is important, isn't it? You know, for warmth and kind of survival. And what's this?
Everyone needs a big campfire, right?
This is a big campfire.
Yeah, and we've got a big way to ignite it.
Of course you have, Mike.
So down here, I've got some potassium permanganate.
Because everyone has potassium permanganate when they're alone in the wilderness, don't they, Mike?
And some glycerin.
Oh, vegetable glycerin. Look at that then, vegetarian-friendly glycerin. No animals were harmed,
No.
unless they crawled into the fire, in which case they're going to be horribly incinerated. What's the water for?
Right, potassium permanganate, it's a great survival chemical. So if I get a tiny, tiny few crystals of this and stick it into there.
Oh, right.
See that go pink?
Yeah, I thought this is just going to be to setting a fire. You can do more than that. You can
do
set fire
so
with
much
it.
more, yeah. Set fire to it. You can make safe drinking water. You go to a puddle, you put some puddled water into your drinking bottle, put some potassium permanganate in and...
You first, Mike.
Cheers. Safe
So
to drink.
We're not just drinking it because it's pink and we want to look impressive at parties. This
No.
is now safe because it's pink.
Exactly.
Everything is better when it's pink.
What we're going to do is we're going to use this to start the fire.
Back on safe territory, as much as we can use the word safe with you, to be brutally honest.
Right, I'm going to dump all of this around the fire here. Look at that. There we go.
And what's the glycerin doing right now,
Well, the
then?
glycerin is the reducing agent. So this is acting as the fuel.
Okay.
For the potassium permanganate. I suggest we take a little step back.
Really?
You probably don't want to be downwind of it.
If Mike says take a step back, I'd take about 10 steps back, Stephen.
Now we've mixed the potassium permanganate and glycerin together, it then forms quite, look, see?
Ah, see? Up until then, it just looked like a crap sticky
Yeah, look
toffee
at that
pudding.
guy.
Not sure what puddings you grew up on, Stephen.
Wow.
That's a pretty good way of starting a fire, right?
Yeah.
Pretty explosive way. I'm stepping back a bit more.
That looks like lava. OK, that's actually really quite hot.
It's really hot.
That is really hot.
I'm not sure, but I think that might be a bit hot. We've shown you the essential survival skills of not dehydrating to death, eating food for energy, and making a plastic rope out of a drinks bottle. But still to come, we've got some more survival tips, including one that's even more life and death than food or water. Yes, that's right, how to charge your phone in the wild. Before that though, here's one I know you've all been waiting for, how to make a cool bow and arrow. PVC. Pretty vital contraption, a bow and arrow made out of PVC pipe, perfect for hunting. Enough questions, let's get some answers.
My immediate thought with this clip is weapons are cool.
We'd like to point out here that George's views do not reflect those of how hacks work, its production company or broadcaster.
Now, PVC is a great material for making something that you want to be strong and flexible. PVC is quite rigid in its normal form, but also when you bend it, it really wants to spring back. It has an elastic restoring force. So essentially, perfect bow material.
Honestly, here's the thing, I'm lazy, okay? So as far as I see with this, you get one of your dad's darts, put a little poison on the end, done.
If you're that lazy, you could just get a takeaway, Russell.
The force actually doesn't come from the bow and the arrow in itself in really any form. What's happening is you're just transferring energy from yourself into the arrow. So when you pull on the string on the bow, you're creating what we call potential energy. And once you've done that, the force is in the arrow and it can definitely go into an animal.
This hack is right on target. Bullseye. Your phone running out of battery is about the worst thing that can happen to anyone. The second worst thing is surviving in the wild when that happens. Luckily, we have a survival tip especially for this.
I don't think you could charge a phone with a potato, but you can get some electricity out.
To make a potato charger, the first thing you need is a potato and 2 bits of metal, one made of aluminium, the other made of copper. Although it might not taste like it, potatoes are filled with a mild acid. The aluminium reacts with this acid, and this creates spare electrons in the nail, making it negatively charged. It also fills the potato with positive hydrogen ions. Now, the nail would much rather be neutral than negative, so when you connect the copper and aluminium, the electrons travel along the wire to the copper, charging your phone in the process.
Now the problem is, in a potato, you get very little flow of electricity, very small current. So you'll need up to 1,000 potatoes, maybe more, to get the current you need to get that phone going. It works, just so slowly, you'd be bored and your phone would probably be out of date.
So when you do go on an expedition in the future, don't forget to take 1,000 potatoes. Or, you know, a portable phone charger.
Did you know that you actually can use a potato to contact someone? I'll show you how. So, for example, if I wanted to... Paul's in the distance over there. Paul!
In an emergency, this potato hack will let you send a text in about 3 hours. Not exactly cutting-edge technology. A miss, I'm afraid. Now, if you've ever set off on a wilderness adventure and somehow forgotten to pack a torch, lamp, or candle, but have remembered your trusty can of sardines, this hack will be catch of the day.
This is a solution to the guy with the rock, by the way. Like, bro, if you know you're probably gonna get lost, I'm just saying, like...
When you're burning something like an oil, generally speaking, you're burning a little layer of vapor on the top. And what you need is a temperature to get that vapor to ignite. It's known as the flash point. And with sunflower oil, which a lot of fishes are in, about 315 degrees Celsius. Easily lightable by just a lighter flame or something like that.
This one is logical to me. It might not have occurred to you that it would do it, but what you're essentially doing is making the least terrifying Molotov cocktail you've ever seen.
I've got my fish. You've got your torch, and it's really simple. You just then there you go.
I do like this hack. I mean, at the end of the day, if you do have a can with some oil in and some food, you want the food, but you may as well use the oil as well, so why not?
I wouldn't eat the candle afterward. I do eat regular candles afterward, though. You can't resist it. They smell so good. Vanilla bean? Mmm.
This fabulously fishy hack gives you a light bite. Literally, a bright, shining hit. From sardines to jeans now, as we show you how stripping off could save your life. All you have to do is tie the legs together into a square knot. Next, swing them over your head, catching as much air as possible before bringing them back down into the water. This technique is so effective that it's taught to all Marines. It's even been used to stay afloat in the Pacific Ocean for 36 hours. Having to lose your trousers is a small price to pay for surviving at sea. A life-saving hack hit. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle. And with his trusty guinea pig Stephen, he'll try anything, so you don't have to. And after all those death-defying survival skills, I think we need to change down a gear. Unfortunately for Stephen though, that's going to involve Mike using chemicals to start fires.
Now, you've given me these, which worries me because whenever you hand me stuff, it normally means that you're slightly worried I might get hurt. And the fact that you're worried means it's very likely I will get hurt. What is this?
I would put on the safety glasses first of all.
Right, okay.
And then the gauntlets.
You see, the fact that you call them gauntlets and not gloves is worrying me already, because that would normally be gloves, but gauntlets implies something major is going to happen.
I think you're right, Stephen.
Well, it might do, so it's always best to be safe.
Okay, and what are you holding in your hands? Because, as ever, it's another bottle of stuff which has no label on it.
It's a bottle of carbon disulfide with white phosphorus dissolved in it.
Well, now I know immediately what it is. What is that?
Well, white phosphorus. Well, you know what phosphorus is. At the side of the matchboxes, you get red phosphorus. Well, this is the white phosphorus type. This is the one that spontaneously combusts when it comes in contact with air.
Now, in karate, white belts are safer than red belts, so is that the same way with phosphorus?
Nah, completely opposite.
Right.
Yeah, this is the most dangerous one.
Of course it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens if I spray this out?
Don't. Right, so with the white phosphorus, it is dissolved in this carbon disulfide, which is a strong solvent. Yeah?
Yeah.
When I spray it, the solvent is going to slowly evaporate away, leaving tiny, tiny particles of white phosphorus, which, because they're so tiny, it's then going to spontaneously combust.
Okay, what are we going to set fire to?
Well, this lovely sign. So let's walk over here.
All right.
I'm going to turn this onto the on position. You know when I said carbon disulfide is a strong solvent?
Yeah.
It's actually dissolved the inside of my trigger. So I think the best thing to do is just pour it on.
Pity you don't have a handy hack to make a new trigger, hey?
So now it's a waiting game. We wait for that carbon disulfide to evaporate away.
There we go.
There we go, there's a little bit. That's pretty cool, right?
No, it's brilliant.
It was much easier than the pump drill.
Yeah, no, I like that idea. Which does beg the question, why didn't we do that to start with?
We've always got to put effort in to show how much it takes to start a fire, and this is much easier.
Yep, or again, just use a lighter. Not quite as dangerous though, I suppose.
We've seen 3 different fires.
Yeah.
3 different methods of starting it.
Yeah.
Which one's your favourite?
This was brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a proper fire, because we are having marshmallows.
Which is the only way to judge fires in my experience.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was big. There was a lot of fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pleased with that.
I'm full of refined sugar, so I'm a happy man. Hooray.
I think we can all agree every survival expert should have potassium permanganate in their kit.
Yeah.
I'll never leave home without mine.
And refined sugar.
Yeah.
Our survival episode has sadly burned out for now, so all that remains is for you to grab a can of sardines, a shredded plastic bottle, take your trousers off and head on out. See you next time! We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own supersized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. This episode is all about the weird and wonderful world of pets. Who knew the internet would be so full of hilarious animal videos, eh?
These dogs, even without human riders on the surfboards, can actually surf waves. And they look pretty cool.
I did not know dogs could do this. This is clearly a key dog skill that should be bred into more dogs.
So in that spirit, we have sniffed and snouted out the very best animal clips to help give you the tips you need to be a responsible, caring and attentive pet owner. And there's a clip of a tortoise playing football. And we'll also be checking into Hack HQ for our epic hack, where we watch them build a nifty compressed air rocket before unveiling an awesome tennis ball cannon for the ultimate game of fetch.
I've got to admit, Mike, that is the perfect pets hack.
Who's a clever boy then? Well, this African grey parrot for starters. Displaying more dexterity in his beak than most of us have in our hands, this brainy bird makes short work of a series of locks that are keeping him from a tasty treat. Parrots, they've conquered the power of speech and now they can pick locks. Anyone else scared?
I'd love to be able to pick locks. That would be so cool. And I'd like to be a parrot as well.
Birds are really, really intelligent, much more intelligent than we give them credit for. In fact, crows and ravens are as intelligent as small monkeys.
As with any pet, training your parrot is best done through positive reinforcement. In other words, treats.
But just what is our master parrot dealing with when he opens a lock, and how difficult is it for those feathered felons to break into one? Every key is different, but why? How do they all open different locks? Inside a lock there are lots of pins that are all different lengths. To open it, you need to line them up and, surprise, surprise, the ridges on the key match up perfectly. And voila, your lock is open.
This is why pirates keep their treasure in opaque, heavy chests. Because if they're in transparent ones like that, the parrots can just get in and get their treasure out.
Another amazing fact from George. A lock-picking parrot is going to be a hit every day of the week. This is one bird you want on your side in a tight spot. The Akita is a hardy Japanese mountain dog, famed for their loyalty and ingenuity. When this one was having trouble with a door, his owner knew just a few words of encouragement would save him the hassle of actually opening the door for him ever again.
Good boy. This is classic dog behaviour, being so eager and bounding and sort of enthusiastic. Oh, let me in, I want my food. I think if my cat was involved in this situation, he'd just be sat outside inspecting his claws. And then when you do eventually open the door, he'd look up and say, what sort of time do you call this?
This clever doggy proves just how good some domestic animals are at gaining access to residential buildings. So nothing to worry about at all there then. A hit! From getting into a home to making yourself feel at home. That dog may be a master at getting into a house, but our next pet takes things one step further. This owner became suspicious when he thought someone wasn't flushing the toilets after use, so he set up a camera. It revealed that this clever kitty has abandoned its litter tray and decided whatever humans can do, felines can do better.
Cats are extremely fussy about where they go to the toilet, and that stems from a natural adaptation that they have. They want to make sure that other cats don't find their poo, because they use their poo to mark out their territory.
I mean, I think a lot of people would watch this clip and think, what a great cat. But I'm thinking, it's really badly behaved. I mean, it hasn't washed its hands, paws. It hasn't done the flush. It's like a teenager.
This clever puss is just one step away from being better bathroom trained than 50% of humans on the planet. It's definitely a hit from me. We've already found out that parrots can help with picking locks. But looking after the sick and the needy? Well, that's a job for man's best friend.
When the owner sneezed,
thank you, Rox.
The dog took that noise as being a signal for like, I've sneezed, I need a tissue. Now that is some clever training.
If I had a cold, was feeling a bit under the weather, there is nothing I would want more than a bit of tissue that was kind of covered in dog saliva.
He always has to ruin it, doesn't he? Playing fetch with a stick is one thing, but safely delivering a thin paper tissue to your snotty owner on command and using just your teeth can only be a hit. Coming up, at Hack HQ, Mike shows us how to make a compressed air rocket before putting that knowledge to very dog-friendly use in our epic hack finale. You don't want to miss it. You've already seen a lock-picking parrot, a toilet-trained tabby, and a dog that knows how to handle a door. Now get ready to be really wowed as we head back into the astounding world of extremely clever pets. Our next pet has discovered the answer to the perfect snooze pod in any household.
I'm not entirely sure what language that lady's speaking, but I think the translation is, oh my God, look at that poo, it's alive.
The cat in the toilet it's a masterpiece of nature's engineering that the cat fits so perfectly into that tiny space.
Bed, toilet and water. All this cat needs now is a food source, and he's got the best kitty condo on the block.
I don't know why it surprises me. I suppose because I think it's wet, but maybe it's a dry toilet bowl. It must be.
That toilet seat is covered in fabric, I think, sort of padded, absorbent fabric. That's a bit weird.
Yes, George, the toilet seat fabric is definitely the weirdest part of this clip. With such a noisy owner, this could be the perfect solution to a quiet night for this puss. Until someone wants to use the toilets, this one's a miss. If there was still any doubt at all as to how similar animals are to humans, just look at how happy this guinea pig is, who's found a tasty way to keep cool on a hot day.
This is utterly charming, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those real heart-melting moments. Great idea, great way of keeping a guinea pig cooler.
Interestingly, guinea pigs actually live at a slightly higher temperature than humans.
Guinea pigs can suffer from heat stroke and they get like a bright red tongue, something known as a wet chin, and they can start looking a little bit unhappy.
Of course, a guinea pig would eat an ice lolly, yes, because ice lollies have the taste of fruit and guinea pigs love fruit, amongst other things.
This little guy's making the most of having to live with human beings and learning how to survive the hot weather without even breaking a sweat. 2 paws up for him. This next clip is proof that cats can be trained to do things, as long as they directly benefit from them, obviously. For cat owners who are tired of having to fill up pet bowls every single day, we give you the self-serving water cat. Well, that certainly beats drinking out of the toilet.
Cats are relatively fussy about what they drink because they prefer to drink from running water compared to still water. We think that this is because in the wild, running water is more likely to be safe to drink compared to stagnant water, which might contain harmful bacteria.
This is fine, this is all well and good, but when I can train my cat to fill the kettle, make some tea, and bring up a tray of tea and toast and marmalade in the morning, then I'll feel like we're making some progress.
For today's busy cat owners, this resourceful Mog has taken one responsibility away, a refreshing hit. If you've ever looked at your dog eating and thought, oh, how delightful that is, I wish I could slow it down so I can savour every slobbery, disgusting mouthful for as long as possible, then you're weird. But also, you'll be interested in this next video. For this hack you need a softball, a puzzle feeder, and a cupcake tray, which you absolutely 100% should never use again. Ugh.
I think that I need some of these tricks, especially with popcorn.
You don't actually want your dog eating as fast as it possibly can because it can end up bloating their stomach. And in severe cases, it actually gives them a condition called canine bloat. And it's actually fatal, and pretty quickly as well.
Funnily enough, I use this method at dinner parties because I often worry about people bolting their food too fast and not enjoying the company.
This hack may well slow down your dog's dinner, but it also means you have to sacrifice a softball and a cake tray. And who'd want to do that? A miss. Now, if your dog is nice and full after that controlled eating, you might want to give them a bit of exercise. Over at Hack HQ, they're going to show us how to harness the power of air to launch objects long distances and put your pooch's paws through the paces.
You all right, Mike?
You all right?
Dog's outside, ready for a game of fetch.
Excellent. I don't think that's going to cut it.
What? This is one of the best throwing devices known to man.
It's pretty impressive, but today is our pets hack, and we're going to take this ball and we're going to throw it further than it's ever been before in our special-made ball thrower.
How are we going to do that?
So we're going to use the power of air and we're going to harness that energy to throw that ball.
So you're going to use the power of air to beat this?
It certainly will, yeah.
Prove it then.
Prove it. Right, well, we're going to send this rocket with water and air pressure right into the sky. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, right, I've put some water in the bottle already.
Right.
Now, if you get the bike pump and put that nozzle right in the end there.
All right. Why have you put some water in the bottle then?
So that's going to act as our fuel, our propellant. So when we've got the air pressure filling up this bottle, it's going to create a huge amount of force in there, forcing that water out, and then you get a reaction coming straight down, and that's going to send that flying straight up in the air.
Awesome, so we're going to use this pump to put loads of pressure in the bottle.
Yep.
And that combined with a little bit of water at the bottom is going to really get it up there.
Shoot it up.
All right, cool.
Right, ready for it?
Yes. Right,
Step back a little bit, yeah, otherwise you're going to get drenched. Really building up.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
That went really far. I reckon that probably went about 30 or 40 metres.
I can't even see where's it gone?
I have no idea.
That was impressive. So we're going to use the same sort of pressure to get a tennis ball further than anyone has ever thrown one before.
Exactly right. The fact that air can exert so much force is exactly what we need to fire that ball. Perfect for our pets hack.
Join us later at Hack HQ, where we'll be putting a super-sized ball launcher to the test. We've seen a curious catnap, a roasting rodent licking a lolly, and some clever ways of controlling your dog's eating habits. Don't go anywhere though. Well, maybe you could fetch yourself a quick bone, because coming up, we've got even more captivating canines, and even a tortoise that's not a turtle disaster on the football pitch. Now, if you can't be bothered to feed your dog, but you can be bothered to attach its food to a microdrone, this next video will be to your liking.
This is a great clip. I'm just so disappointed that the dog didn't eat the biscuit and then the string and then the drone as well. That would have been much more entertaining, really.
We get it, feeding dogs can get boring, so why not make feeding time into a very, very low budget action film by enlisting the help of a drone?
Drones can be incredibly noisy things, so the fact that this dog is actually completely unafraid is pretty miraculous.
These 51 seconds prove just how far some humans will go to avoid any kind of manual labour. Bravo!
This is just a glimpse of the future. In years to come, this is how we will get our food. You know, our AI overlords will send their whirling drones, and these hoppers of nutrient-rich porridge will just drop into our mouths while we're on our mobile phones. It's just how it's going to be. We have to accept that.
Trusting your loyal pet not to mistake your expensive drone for a big tasty treat could easily turn into disaster. So, if you want a dog, get a dog. If you want a drone, get a drone. But please don't mix them. A hack, miss. Okay, forget everything I just said about not mixing dogs with drones, because it turns out they're the perfect substitute for a tennis ball. This owner discovered he could entertain his dog for minutes with nothing more than an expensive remote-controlled micro-drone. The only difference between this and a tennis ball, if your dog eats it, chances are you don't have about 17 more of them lying around in your garden.
My cats would just, I mean, they're already anxious. If they had a drone whirling around near them, I think they'd just go berserk. Be fun to try though.
Most dogs would have been scared of a drone like this, but you can train a dog not to be scared just through familiarity.
They basically see anything move and they think it's prey. It's in their DNA. I think this dog is hunting. It wants that drone gone, out of its life, kaput.
Again, despite this being quite funny, it's not really going to save you much money. An expensive miss. Some clips on this show need a bit of context to explain what's happening. This one needs only 2 words: surfing dog. Some dog owners just can't go anywhere without their loyal mutts. So for the discerning surfer who doesn't want to ditch their best furry friend on dry land, this hack turns him into a real-life beach boy. Or should that be beach good boy, good boy. This 4-legged surfer is more gnarly than snarly as he rides the waves, like a cool canine.
Dog surfing is definitely a thing, and in America for the most part, and they have dog surfing competitions, and that's been going on since the 1920s.
So just to be clear, surfing dog competitions have been around for longer than the Football World Cup.
These dogs, even without human riders on the surfboards, can actually surf waves. And they look pretty cool.
This is what California does to people. You see dogs elsewhere, they're working, they're running, they're fetching the newspaper, fetching the slippers. The ones in California, they're just surfing.
I'll say it again, surfing dog. 100% hit. If you think dogs are the only pets that enjoy a good bit of ball play, you definitely need to see this next critter.
I don't think I've ever seen a tortoise move that quickly before.
Forgetting for a moment the laid-back characteristics of his species, Bubba the tortoise loves nothing more than to chase a ball around the kitchen. Like a reptilian Ronaldo, he's almost a blur as he keeps up with his favourite toy. Until he goes out for a throw-in. That would probably be one step too far even for Bubba.
The thing I love about tortoises is they can live for such a long time. Steve Irwin and Charles Darwin cared for the same tortoise called Harriet.
Us humans have our skeletons on the inside, but animals like crabs have them on the outside. Then you have the tortoise. It's got both, and what's more, they're joined together as one skeleton. The tough bony shell has an outer layer of mini shields. It's made from the same stuff as your fingernails. As the tortoise grows, new rings are added to these shields, just like tree rings. The older the tortoise is, the more rings each shield has. They make the perfect tortoise protection device.
They look a bit like pies, I think, don't they, tortoises? So I suppose if you went near it with a pie dish, or with oven gloves, it might be anxious and run away.
Bubba is so fast, I think we should have a heavy tortoise rematch. And this time, no head starts. This shell just scored a direct hit. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle. And with his trusty guinea pig Marcus, he'll try anything so that you don't have to. Earlier on at Hack HQ, we saw how the power of air and water can be used to launch objects into the air. Now we're back to put those skills to even more epic use, as the lads demonstrate how to substitute your arms for an air-powered tennis ball launcher and never get worn out by your dog again.
Tell you what though, Mike, I still think this is the best ball thrower known to men.
Go on then, give it a go.
Go on, Max.
Wow.
Look at that.
Not bad. I mean, that's about 25 metres. Yeah. But I can do much better than that. This is the Ball Launcher 5000. It runs on compressed air. We've got an air compressor there. That fills up a tank that's inside. Now, that's at 5 bar of pressure, 5 atmospheres, which is the equivalent of being about 40 metres underwater.
Okay. Right, so using the same principles as we use with the bottle rocket, you're going to be pumping 5 atmospheres worth of air into this box, and that's going to fire the tennis ball a little bit further up the field than my strong arm did.
Yeah, quite a bit further than your strong arm did, yeah.
Still seems like a lot of effort just to get a ball a bit further up the field.
Ah, well, that's where I've got this lovely little gizmo inside. As soon as the ball gets put down, it's got a sensor down the bottom, and it fires it straight back up. So we can sit back, have a cup of coffee, and watch the dog do its work.
All right, I'll put the kettle on and let's get this going.
Right.
Okay, all right, fair enough. That was impressive. That was actually really impressive.
It was impressive, but there's more in it. I can crank this up to 9 bar, 9 atmospheres of pressure. That's going to shoot it way further.
There's only one person that's going to love it more than me, and that's Max the dog. Let's do it.
Let me do that. Crank.
Crankage?
Wow, I think that was about 100 meters, and I didn't even have to reload it.
I've got to admit, Mike, that is the perfect pets hack. You've made it more fun for the dog and less work for us.
Yep, the power of compressed air does it again.
We are a planet of pet lovers, and the one thing we love as much as animals is watching them do funny things. So take today's tips, your nearest furry, feathery or scaly friend, and make some lovely, heartwarming and hilarious hacks. We've scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions, and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting, and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own supersized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. This episode we're dusting off our overalls, blowing the cobwebs off that toolbox and setting to work on the world of DIY. Using the hints and tips in these videos, you'll be hacking left, right and centre and asking yourself, DIY, didn't I do this earlier? From specially designed stilts that satisfy all your painting needs, to using the power of chemistry to eliminate nasty smells, and a heavy-duty way to solve your peeling problems in seconds. We'll also be testing out the fastest way to build furniture in our own epic power tool hack.
The ultimate DIY hack, right?
First up, a broken light bulb. Not a problem for the humble potato.
It makes me love carbs even more than I already do.
My one warning would be just make sure you've got no current anywhere near that light bulb at the time, otherwise you're going to end up with fried potatoes.
The problem when something gets really hot, like a light bulb filament, is it starts to react with oxygen in the air. So what we have to do is get that out of the way. We suck all the air out of the bulb to make a vacuum, or we can put a gas in that doesn't react at all. So that's why your bulb is always enclosed in that glass dome.
But what happens when a light bulb smashes? Time to see it in slow-mo.
If that bulb cracks, what's going to happen is all that air is going to rush in from the surroundings because the pressure inside is lower than the outside. It's an implosion. But then what happens? The oxygen hits the hot filament, it reacts violently, and then it explodes.
So it's Mighty Spud to the rescue, proving not all superheroes wear capes. Some wear delicious peelable skin. A helpful carbohydrate hit. Next to changing a light bulb, drilling a hole is probably the most common DIY activity. It's also the messiest. Not anymore though. Observe.
I love the drill cone. It's brilliant, especially if you're drilling into plasterboard in your house, putting up a picture or something. It just gets everywhere, and then you have to get the hoover out afterwards, and what was a small job becomes a huge job, which you just think, oh, why bother? So something like the drill cone, it's so simple, and it just saves so much time. I love it.
I tell you what I did do once. This is absolutely true. I tried taping a vacuum cleaner with gaffer tape onto the edge of the drill to try and suck the dust as I was drilling.
What about epic drilling though?
Some of the deepest holes that have ever been drilled are in the gas and oil industry, where you're drilling down through the Earth's crust, down, 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 to hit that oil field and to be able to extract that.
Sorry, Rob, we don't have any hacks with people drilling into the Earth's crust. We're more about, you know, DIY and stuff like that. Jeez. This mess-reducing tip is one less reason to put off that DIY job for the 50th time. Go on, get it done. A brill, drill, hit. This next video shows you how to get hooked on fizzy drinks. Literally.
Why stop at the ring pulls? Just put the cans up. You haven't got space in your fridge, just put a can up, you know, and then when you pull it off the wall, it'd probably open it, wouldn't it? So put the cans up.
I sort of flinched a bit when he was bending the aluminium ring pull, because with metals, when you bend them, actually they become more brittle. So if you're going to bend this ring pull, actually what you might end up doing is introducing some kind of weakness to the material, and this could endanger your pictures or your photographs or whatever that's hanging on the walls.
There are over 200 billion cans of fizzy drink sold every year. Enough ring pulls to hang up a separate poster of nearly every Fast and Furious movie. But how do they actually work? Like most things on this show, it isn't as simple as it seems. It's a complex two-lever system. When you first start to open the can, the pivot point, or fulcrum, is at the very end of the tab. This is called a second-class lever. Just like when you lift up a wheelbarrow and the load lifts too, as you pull the tab, it lifts the rivet and this vents the pressure from the can. This causes the forces on the lever to change. The fulcrum is now in the middle of the rivet and has become a first-class lever, just like a seesaw. Now when you pull the tab up, it easily breaks through the scored aluminium, allowing you to open it. The perfect way to enjoy your drink.
This is quite a new design, so they used to design aluminium ring pulls so that you pulled the whole thing off and you ended up with the cap sort of in your hand. But then that's obviously a massive littering problem.
You can get a pack of picture hooks for about the same price as a fizzy drink. Some things just aren't worth hacking, and this is one of them. Coming up at Hack HQ, Mike ropes Stephen into helping out with an explosive nail cannon.
What was that?
I said an explosive nail cannon, Stephen. Well, this all sounds very safe. So far, we've made light work of a smashed bulb. and showed you a top skills, no spills, no frills drill hack. I don't think the internet is done yet though. Let's see what other DIY tips it's got for us. There is a severe lack of style when it comes to storing knives. It's something nobody says. We've got a hack for it anyway though.
That is very clever. I like that a lot. I've got some experience with glue, but nothing as useful as this. Normally mine has been very destructive, but that is constructive and I like it.
Glue guns are brilliant. I mean, I used to look at them as purely a means of getting glue out, but nowadays it's basically you can form any shape you want.
This glue is made up of a tangled mass of polymers, which are tiny strand-like chemicals that all mesh together. When we add some heat to those polymers, they can all move past one another, which is why your glue flows. But when it cools down, they tend to bunch back together and you get a solid mass. But they just reform on the new shape.
I think the most important part of this hack is the washing up liquid, because otherwise you've got to explain to people why you've just glued your knife into quite an attractive cage.
The washing up liquid here is a great idea. It provides a barrier against the knife to stop the glue from sticking. And that's what you need, otherwise you have a gluey knife.
Most hacks on this show have an element of danger to them, so it's nice to see a sensible one redress the balance slightly. A safety-conscious hit. DIY without a ladder is DI difficult. This next hack is the perfect solution for all those hard-to-reach areas.
I've been there before when you're painting up high and you're on your tiptoes and you're just trying to get it, high enough. A, it's really inaccurate, and B, your calves and your feet really start to hurt after a while. So this hack kind of works pretty well, and he's pretty mobile with it. He'll have that wall done in no time.
Can you imagine trying to walk in those? I mean, I can't even walk in heels.
Yes, I think they look very dangerous. Like, the steps that he just took are not very assured, shall we say.
Not very assured? He looks like a drunk baby deer.
The way our sense of balance works is through a series of little channels in our inner ear, and they're full of fluid that rubs against very small hairs and signals to our brain which way up we are.
You certainly wouldn't want to fall off them. Safety concerns aside, it is getting the job done. It's a hack hit. Next time you have a nightmare with a screw that's gone past its prime, just band together with a trusty piece of elastic.
I always get quite upset and frustrated with myself whenever I feel with the screwdriver that you've rounded off the head at the top of the screw, because you just know, oh, I'm never going to be able to get that back out again.
Try and get them in further, and then you can't get them out or in, and try putting pliers on. So I can't wait for that to happen again so I can use that hack, because I was so impressed.
As you can tell, George lives a rich and varied private life.
What we need for this hack is a lot of friction, and rubber is perfect for that. It works exactly like a gecko's foot.
A gecko's toe pads are covered in thousands of microscopic hairs, each of which splits off into hundreds more smaller bristles called spatulae. These microscopic hairs fit so well into the contours of walls and surfaces that something called Van der Waals force comes into play. This force, unlike the one in Star Wars, is a physical bond that occurs when the electrons in the gecko's toe molecules interact with electrons from the wall molecules. In effect, the gecko is clinging to the wall using electromagnetism. They're basically reptilian superheroes.
If only I had a rubber band.
This hack banishes the most evil DIY problem on the planet. It's my new hero, a massive hit. From a very sensible hack to a completely over-the-top and potentially dangerous one. That's right, it's time to head over to Hack HQ, where Mike is gearing up to build his own cannon-based power tool.
Beautiful day, but if we're going to do hacks, I'm going to need Mike. Where's Mike? What was that? Mike! Stephen! That's a cannon. What are you doing with a cannon?
Well, for this epic hack, right, we're going to use the mechanics of a cannon to make the ultimate DIY power tool. Sounds great, yeah?
Yes, it sounds like overkill and terrifying.
Cannons are the ultimate epic weapon, and they need a truly epic amount of force to fire.
Right, safety glasses.
Thank you.
Ear defenders.
Right.
Let's do it.
Does anyone think this is a good idea?
Here it goes.
That was really loud.
It's really loud.
Why are we using a cannon, Mike?
Right, so to make the ultimate power tool,
okay,
we're going to use black powder in a cannon to fire a 6-inch nail. It's going to be a cannon nail gun.
So this is just basically like a hammer on steroids?
Basically, yeah.
But I don't see these in DIY stores, so what do we need? How are we going to make this work?
Looks like he's been inspired again. The mechanics of a cannon and a DIY tool. Yeah, that sounds very Mike.
Right, in my little box here, I've got black powder.
Okay, show us
That's what we used to fire in the cannon. See, it's little grains of black powder.
So this is like gunpowder?
Very similar. This is old-fashioned gunpowder. So this has a mixture of potassium nitrate, charcoal and sulphur. Mixed in the right quantities, it's refined and it produces about 500 times its own volume in gas, really, really quickly.
So basically you trap a huge amount of gas in the cannon and the only way out is to push a massive iron ball through the air. Science is crazy.
I'm hearing a lot of words, but what I'm feeling is you're saying that's quite dangerous.
It's quite dangerous, and we're going to put it into a cannon and fire a 6-inch nail.
Let's do it.
We'll be back at Hack HQ later to see if they manage to pull off this completely crazy and not at all impractical hack of a supercharged DIY power tool inspired by cannons. So far we've seen tabs for hooks, glue for guards, and even ladders for legs. Don't hang up that tool belt yet, because we've got plenty more home improvement hacks on the horizon. If you've got a spare bag of charcoal lying around, and let's face it, why wouldn't you? This next DIY hack shows you how to turn that smoky lump into sweet, sweet perfume. This guy's using charcoal to change the very air he breathes. Now that is a breath of fresh air.
I've got a way better hack. Pants, charcoal filter, anti-fart pants, absorbs the smell. Been married 2.5 years thanks to these. My husband is very grateful that I wear them daily.
So I really like this hack, but unfortunately he's using the wrong kind of charcoal. What he needs is something called activated charcoal.
Charcoal has an intricate lattice-like design with countless tiny folds and cracks between the charcoal particles. It can filter out toxic chemicals such as benzene and xylene by trapping them on the surface, but it can't trap that many as the surface becomes full. Come on, xylene! When treated with oxygen, however, this opens up pores and cracks in the carbon and increases the surface area. This is called activated charcoal, which is used in fish tank filters, some toothpastes, and of course air purifiers. These pores mean that huge numbers of toxic particles can be trapped in the carbon, taking them out of the air. When activating the charcoal, you can even choose the pore sizes you create, allowing you to select which toxins you stop based on their size. The charcoal itself, however, doesn't change size at all, no matter how much it traps. This is because the particles are only stuck to the surface of the pores and not absorbed inside the chemical structure. Can we really smell those tiny particles, though?
If you walk into a room and it's a smelly room, you're going to notice it because we're okay at picking up different scents. We've got about 5 to 6 million receptors right up here in the top of our nose. But compared to dogs, we're rubbish. We've got 5 to 6 million, they've got about 220 million receptors.
I don't know about you, but spending my Saturdays looking for activated charcoal isn't worth the price of an air freshener, I'm afraid. A fragrant miss. If you love apples, hate their skin, but also love drills, I think I might just have the perfect video for you.
What a great idea. I hate peeling apples, so this is perfect for me.
I think we should have more drills in the kitchen.
I quite like the peel.
So Laura loves bolting down the peel, but is it doing her any good?
A lot of the nutrients in an apple are actually in the skin. So depeeling it, unless your recipe says specifically you must peel your apple, then I'd keep it on. Get it down you, all the better.
Seriously, is there anything drills can't do? A peely good hit! From healthy snacks to health and safety, we all know DIY can be a first aid nightmare. This next hack is guaranteed to save your fingers.
Whoever did that, well done. great work, and everyone has a peg. This is what these hacks should be used for. This is great. This is not crazy. Well done.
I love the safe hammering techniques. This is genuine. Yesterday, I smacked my finger with a hammer, not on purpose, I might add. And you get these things, blood blisters, come up in seconds, and it's really painful too.
The humble hammer is actually the 4th biggest cause of DIY accidents in the UK. We get about 6,000 visits to the emergency room every single year.
When I hit my finger with the hammer yesterday, what I did was, biologically, I ruptured and damaged and split all the tiny capillaries and blood vessels that are moving blood around down there. And so what you get is bleeding. I started to bleed. But because I didn't rupture the skin, it forms this bubble that's, it's actually at quite high pressure. If I were to pop that now, it'd be messy.
Finally, an actual use for clothes pegs. A hammer hit. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle. And with his trusty guinea pig Stephen, he'll try anything so that you don't have to. Earlier at Hack HQ, we witnessed the extreme explosive power of a cannon. Now it's time to see just how Mike is going to make this awesome weapon into a DIY hack. Has anyone seen those safety goggles?
Stephen, what are you doing?
It's a life hack, Mike. Look, I'm using a hair grip to make sure that I don't hammer my fingers. Useful for people, a good hack.
Pretty pathetic though, isn't it?
No, it's perfect. Why would we need to use we could just use a hammer, can't we?
Well, it's tiny, isn't it?
OK, so what would you use?
Well, I'd use a nail gun.
Of course you would.
Yeah, and if you put on your safety glasses...
All right.
I've got a professional nail gun right here. And this fires 4-inch nails into wood like that.
Right. And that'll do the job we want to do then, yes?
Sadly not.
Why?
This only fires 4-inch nails.
OK.
That wood is 4-inch, and what I've got to go onto it is also 4-inch. So, we need something bigger. And I've already told you that we're using a cannon, and we're going to use a cannon to fire a 6-inch nail straight into the wood.
OK, and we can't do that with a nail gun?
No, that only fires 4-inch.
Right, so what do we need?
We're going to use a lovely little cannon that I've made myself.
Oh, the Nailed It 2000. That's 20 years out of date, surely.
No, this is brand new. I've made this myself.
Can I stop you there? You've made a cannon yourself?
Yeah.
How?
How? Well, you get a big lump of steel, you drill it out,
yeah.
You put a fuse hole in, you put black powder in there to fire it, and then you get a great big nail is your ammunition.
You make cannons. I made a stroganoff last week and I was genuinely proud of myself. You've made a cannon. OK, and you need this to fire...
So what I've got is this big bird table, and I'm going to secure that with a clamp. There we go. So that's clamped on. I'm going to put the nail in there with the black powder, bring that up nice and close, light the fuse, bang, in it goes.
Okay.
Nailed it.
So why black powder?
Why black powder? Let me show you. That there. There's 5 grams of black powder, which we'll use inside the cannon, and I'm going to let you light it.
Oh, OK.
Have you ever used a blowtorch before?
I've got one of those little ones that puts a caramelised edge on a tomato. It's lovely when you're doing a dinner party.
Yeah, this is much bigger.
OK.
Yeah, OK, so what you need to do, click that button, it lights the blowtorch, and then bring it into the black powder, nice and carefully. Right. Ready for it?
Yeah.
OK.
OK. All right.
Yeah.
Ah! Ooh, that seemed quite quick.
It is pretty quick, yeah. So it's a propellant explosive. It propels things. It's going to propel that nail out into the wood rather than just blowing the gun up.
OK, so the key thing here is it's a propellant.
Yep.
So we can just stand here as we do it.
No.
Where do we go?
Pretty dangerous, so we're going to go over there behind a blast screen.
Need a hair grip?
Nah, I don't think we need a hair grip.
OK.
First thing Mike has to do is put 5 grams of black powder in, making sure it goes all the way down the pipe. Finally, it's time to load in the nail, 6 inches of solid metal. Then if ever there was an epic hack that required them to retreat to a very safe distance, it's probably one that involves firing a nail from a cannon. Off you go, lads.
Are we all loaded?
We're all loaded, we're all set, and we're safe behind this blast screen.
So this screen thing, it's just like a big plastic water bottle? Is this going to save us?
Yeah, so I've got here a metal frame, and in front of it, polycarbonate, 10 millimetres of polycarbonate, which they say is bulletproof.
Wow. Well, that sounds good, except we're not firing a bullet, are we?
No.
We're firing a 6-inch nail.
Yeah.
Are we going to be okay?
We'll be fine. Shall I go and shoot it?
Go for it. Yeah.
Fuse is lit, pop those on.
Right. Any minute now. Ah!
Whoa! That was pretty loud.
That was loud. Let's go and have a look. Oh! Oh my God!
Look at that.
That's incredible. So I'll be honest with you, Mike. When I saw that, I thought, it's not really a cannon, is it? That's just like a little bit of pipe. But that's...
It's a proper cannon. It's gone right in there, and if you come over here, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's overkill, so it's you. I mean, it's completely black here. Why is it completely black here?
That's just unburnt carbon, so the deposits of the gunpowder.
OK, and that's 8 inches of hard wood that it's pushed a 6-inch nail straight through
the way
to the other side. Well, you know what? When you got the nail gun out earlier on, I was thinking that's pretty meaty. Why would we need anything more than that? This makes the nail gun look like a pea shooter.
The ultimate DIY hack, right?
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. If I want to put a nail in anything from now onwards, a hammer is not going to do the job. Can I borrow this for DIY stuff? No.
That's our DIY episode nailed. For one of the first times ever, I'm going to say make sure you do try these at home. Or maybe give the homemade cannon thing a miss, actually. See you next time! Scoured the internet to bring you the ultimate in life hacks, bonkers inventions and crazy contraptions designed to make your life easier, more exciting and definitely more fun. And we've summoned a team of experts with science brains and funny bones to explain everything. From the ridiculous to the sublime. And make sure you strap in for the grand finale at our very own Hack HQ, where we create and construct an epic stunt, our very own super-sized solutions to life's problems, big and small, with the help of Mike Sansom, pyrotechnician, chemist and engineer, and his human guinea pigs, Marcus Bronzy and Stephen Grant. For now, sit back, relax and put your feet up. Let us do the hard work so you don't have to. This is how hacks work. This episode is all about eco tips. Everywhere you look today, you see advice on how to cut down your impact on the planet. Well, we're going one step further and giving you a whole show dedicated to it.
Our planet is a very fragile ecosystem. We need to look after it so it will look after us.
Saving the planet is a serious subject, so we're going to give you some advice on little things you can do that will not only reduce everyone's impact on Mother Earth, but also the impact on your bank account. We'll also be showing you how to use a humble pedal to generate your own power. And then in our super epic hack, we'll actually be building our very own power generator. Hack HQ becomes self-sufficient. If you've got a lot of balloons to blow up and want to save on helium, this hack shows you how to do it in a really, really cool way. No, seriously, you want gloves for this. OK, now take your giant balloon and carefully fill it with dry ice cubes. Now for the cool part, take some water and pour it into the balloon. Now tell me you don't feel like a mad scientist. Now wait, and wait, and wait a bit more. And there you go, an inflated giant balloon that saves on helium and your lungs.
A traditional way of blowing up party balloons, if you don't want water in them, is using helium.
And we in no way recommend inhaling some of it to make your voice sound funny.
Using helium in balloons is actually becoming more and more of an issue because we have a limited supply of helium on Earth. Now, helium rises, so it actually rises all the way up out of our atmosphere as soon as we release it.
So what is dry ice and how can it inflate a balloon? Dry ice is made from carbon dioxide. When we breathe out, the air contains a gaseous form of carbon dioxide. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was minus 89 degrees Celsius. Dry ice in solid form is minus 78.5 degrees Celsius. That's pretty nippy. As the dry ice warms up from its numbing temperature, it turns directly from solid to liquid, a process known as sublimation. All this scientific jargon means we can use it to blow up a balloon. As the dry ice sublimes into a gas, the particles vibrate and spread out, filling the entire balloon with ice-cold CO2 instead of expensive helium. This workaround solution takes far more time to do than actually just filling it up with helium. However, it does look cool, and for that reason I'm approving it. A hit! Now, if like me you enjoy smashing massive metal cans, but don't have access to an industrial crusher, you'll definitely want to watch this next video very closely. Using nothing more than heat and water, you can crush cans as if by magic.
Those cans are really strong, so to see it crushed by the force of air alone is amazing.
I've seen entire oil tankers be crushed down to nothing by the power of air pressure alone.
By filling a can with water and heating it, you create steam, which drives out all of the air. Then when you turn the can over and drop it in water, it creates a vacuum which crushes the can.
Air exerts a lot more pressure than you give it credit for. We just don't notice because we're very tough when it comes to withstanding that pressure.
So don't go picking a fight with air, right?
On average, we use about 200 billion cans a year. That's 6,700 every single second. So we should really be recycling.
Water and heat already do roughly 6 billion jobs for us on this planet, so adding can crushers to their list is a good idea. This is definitely a hit! After a day crushing cans, you'll want to relax. How about in a homemade couch from recycled wood that won't harm the environment? The catch? Yep, you have to build it yourself.
You cut like this.
If he calls this a couch, I'd hate to see what he calls a park bench.
Okay, so basically that is it. Sit down, relax, have a beer with your buddy, and if you want to make just a normal chair instead of a couch, you can just make a half-sized one, like this one over here, and then you can have 2 buddies and 3 beers.
Whatever you call it, this is a cool bit of furniture that's been recycled from stuff heading to the garbage. An earth-saving hack hit. A recent study that I just made up found that every household in the world has at least 6,983 plastic bags. If you find you're running out of cupboards, drawers, and well, anything else to stuff plastic bags into, watch this next video very carefully. First, grab an empty crisp tube. If you haven't got one, go buy a tube of crisps and eat them, safe in the knowledge that you're saving the planet. Now, with the help of a plunger, stuff as many plastic bags as you can into it. Yeah, that's it. Honestly.
Last year we used 1 trillion plastic bags, which works out to be 1 million a minute.
That is a huge amount of plastic. When you make plastic, it just stays on the earth for the rest of infinity, forever. It doesn't go away.
A bit like those Fast and Furious movies.
It is possible to recycle plastic bags, but unfortunately in most places the facilities aren't available, so they usually end up in landfill.
Using this hack, for example, is a good way of making sure that we're not just throwing plastic away into the nature.
Stuffing plastic bags into a cardboard cylinder might not be the most revolutionary hack in our solar system, but anything that helps control the chaos of modern living is always going to be a hack hit. Now, this next storage solution tip comes with a warning. Please, please, please make sure you clean out any chemicals before you start cutting. And now we have your interest. This entire shelf system using empty plastic bottles has student accommodation written all over it. Simply cut a massive hole in the largest side of your bottle and hey presto, a storage unit that is nearly as cheap as one from IKEA. Quick note, you don't have to make as many as this guy has. He must have a lot of underwear.
I think this is a brilliant hack. Anything which uses up plastic in a cool and innovative way is great.
The good thing about this is you don't always need to open the drawers. You can just unscrew the caps and pull your pants out through the hole.
This really is a hack for those on a budget, or people who really, really want to feel like they live in a chemicals factory. A kind of hack hit, I suppose. Coming up later, Mike generates actual electricity using pedal power before taking everything he's learned, making it bigger and using it to blow stuff up and make cool pyrotechnics. Usual day at Hack HQ then. So far, this eco episode has already shown you how to blow up a balloon, crush huge cans, store plastic bags, and even make your own set of drawers. If that hasn't got you running for the nearest DIY shop, stick around and have a watch of the next array of eco advice. After all this hard work cutting costs and saving the planet, you're probably all hot, sweaty, and ready to jump into a nice relaxing shower. But only if you want to shower one small part of your head. This top tip is amazing if you need to wash your hair and your shower is broken. Reckon he'd need a slightly bigger bottle if he was more gifted in the follicles department.
Yeah, it's, is it a hack?
I really feel for this guy. He has no shower.
The only thing with this clip is the guy has no hair. So it's a good hack, but the wrong person to demonstrate it.
If you've ever tried to think of an eco-friendly use for your used bath water, look no further than your furry friends. Perfect. Anyway, enough of cute animals playing in the bath, back to some serious eco-friendly hacks. Boiling hot water and expensive smartphones are rarely a good combination, but this time it's actually useful. Kind of. For this hack, we're ignoring the fact he obviously has a power outlet inches away and focusing on the amazing USB interface, which is an eco-friendly way of turning scalding hot water into battery power.
This can't be real. If they used an energy drink, that would work, because energy, battery, but surely with water, that just sounds like magic.
Reusable cups are probably one of the last things the human race has managed to stick a USB port into, so for that reason alone this tip is impressive.
The thermoelectric effect uses special conducting materials called semiconductors, and if there's a temperature gradient, so a hot point and a cold point, the charge will move from the hot point to the cold point. This is an electric current. That could be enough energy to power a smartphone.
Using water to generate electricity, right? That is no new idea. That is what the Industrial Revolution was based on.
If you're camping next to a roaring fire, this is a hit. If you're literally anywhere else though, it's a little bit pointless and slightly dangerous, and not actually that effective, so it's a no. From the ridiculous to the sublime now, as we head over to Hack HQ to see them actually generating electricity. And there's not a USB or fossil fuel in sight.
Mike is going to be so impressed with this. There is no better eco-solution for generating electricity than using a potato. Excellent.
Stephen!
Mike!
How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, and you are going to be so proud of me today because when it comes to our hack of generating electricity, I've done it.
But what is that?
It's an epic hack using potatoes.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, but look, I've used them as a battery and it's going to generate electricity. Now, get ready for this.
Okay.
You might not need safety glasses, but squint, it's going to be light bright. Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Wow.
How's that look?
I'm impressed. But do you know how it works?
Absolutely, yeah. What happens is the potatoes, they work... No, I've no idea.
Right, so you've got potatoes there which provide an acid, an electrolyte, and then you've got a reactive metal, which is the zinc on the bolts, and a non-reactive metal, which is the copper. Right. You get an electron transfer, produces electricity, bang, on with the LED.
Fabulous. And is that how we're going to do our epic hack today?
No, not at all. We can't use potatoes. We need a lot more electricity because we're going to be setting off fireworks with it.
That sounds like a lot of potatoes.
No potatoes.
So how are we going to do it then?
Right. We're going to use induction, and I'm going to use you to make the induction.
Right.
You stick the magnet into the copper wire, backwards and forwards,
right,
and it produces electricity.
Oh, OK.
Tiny, tiny, tiny amounts. Give it a go.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Got to go as fast as possible.
All right. So, is this enough electricity for our epic hack?
Not quite. This is quite a small amount of electricity. Now, there's several ways you can make more electricity.
OK.
You can either increase the coils.
Right.
Increase the magnet.
OK.
Or increase the speed.
OK, I'm going faster now.
Yeah, but it's not fast enough.
OK.
Yeah, so put that down, put that down.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So to upscale this induction, we're going to use a dynamo. Now, a dynamo is essentially a motor like this one.
Right.
On the spindle that turns around, there's loads and loads of coils of wire, just like that.
Yep.
And then on the outside, there's magnets. So the coil spins around on the magnets, producing electricity. Look at that, much easier than a potato.
Oh, right, OK. And how are we going to do that?
Not we, Stephen, you. I'm going to stick you on your bike, dynamo connected to it, and for our eco-friendly hack, you're going to be producing my electricity.
Epic.
Join us later at Hack HQ, where we'll be putting Stephen through his paces to generate more than a few sparks. You don't want to miss this. We've shown you how to harness the magic of water in high degrees to varying degrees of success. And coming up, we'll be going from lots of hot water to one really hot star as we turn to the sun for some tips to brighten up your eco-friendly travel. There are few things in the world more ancient than a slingshot. Since the time of David and Goliath, they've taught us that aim and ingenuity is better than raw strength. Here we show you an eco-friendly way to repurpose a humble plastic drinks bottle into an amazingly accurate handheld slingshot. Just be careful where you're pointing it. To make your slingshot, you just need to cut the top off a plastic drinks bottle. Then take a balloon and fit it tightly to the open cap, like this. If you really want to look cool, you can attach flights to a wooden skewer like this for a mini-flighted spear. That's cool, right? Right?
This is such a cool toy. I would love to make one. I'm going to make one.
Can someone please make sure George is not allowed to make his own slingshot?
Rubber is stretchy because it's what we call a polymer.
When we are pulling back the elastic, we are giving it potential energy. The rubber is then pulled back into shape is because of something called entropy, which means that the molecules actually don't want to be in this ordered state. They want to go into this messy one.
With this homemade slingshot, you'll never miss. So obviously, it's a hit! Homemade slingshots are a great tool for the wilderness. But do you know what's even better? A solar-powered boat! It's amazing for the environment, and you get to look ridiculously cool. Check out this clip for an amazing way to ride the waves. In less time than it takes most people to put a shelf up, this dad has found a way to keep his kids quiet for an afternoon by making a solar-powered boat. And all it took was building a boat from scratch, which is not only seaworthy, but also capable of harnessing the immense light energy of a star 150 million kilometres away.
I thought this hack was amazing. This person's made this whole boat out of just some drain pipes. It's really cool.
He's got a big, heavy car battery on there with, like, you know, connectors to it and his children, and it's on water. It just strikes me as really dangerous. But I would have thought, battery water, is that not a recipe for disaster? Yeah.
We get an amazing amount of power from our sun. About 1,000 watts hits a square metre of land on average, which is huge if we can harness it.
With solar panels, it's not necessarily how sunny, it's how long is it sunny for.
But how does a solar panel work? Inside the panel there are two layers of silicon, one with extra electrons making it negative, and the other with electrons taken away, making it positive. When a ray of sunshine hits the top layer, it gives energy to the silicon and releases more electrons. But now it's a bit crowded, so some of the electrons politely make their way out to this energy party via a conductor at the top. If you link the conductor up to a circuit, then these electrons flow as electricity and can be used to power objects like light bulbs, computers, and small child-sized boats. The electrons then re-enter the silicon right back where we started, ready for more light to hit. If we were able to effectively gather the sunlight that hit the Earth in just 1 hour, we'd be able to power the world for a whole year. This bright spark has conquered the rays and the waves. It's a definite hit. We've proved you can use the blinding light of the sun to power a boat. But what if you want to cool down? Well, luckily, and ironically, the sun can also help you do that. These workers decided their hats weren't doing enough work simply keeping the sun out of their eyes. So they attached solar panels to them and hung fans off them.
Why doesn't every hat have this? It's great. You want to get cooler, attach a fan onto your sun hat. It makes perfect logical sense.
The nice thing about solar panels is you don't need direct sunlight for them to work. Even diffuse light on a not bright sunny day is enough to get those things going.
I've got quite a big head, slightly bigger than average, so I would like to make one of those, but I think I'd need to use one of those, the blades from one of those wind farm things.
Don't mind a moving fan dangling in front of your face all day during work? Then this gadget's for you. For everyone else, it's a miss. We've shown you how the sun can be used to generate power. And now Hack HQ want to build their very own eco-friendly electricity generator. Always having to go one better. Over to Hack HQ. The countdown is over and the fuses are lit. There's no cannon too big, no dynamite too strong for Mike to handle. And with his trusty guinea pig Stephen, he'll try anything so that you don't have to. Earlier we created some serious electricity in our hack workshop. But now it's time to wave the supersized wand over it as we pull out all the stops for our money-saving super eco-hack.
Ah, Mike.
Stephen.
Ah, what have you done to my bike?
I'm so pleased you asked. This is the key to our eco-friendly hack.
What is it?
Right, so you know what we did earlier with the dynamo?
Right.
We've got a bigger version of that right here. So this is our dynamo.
OK.
We're going to use the power of you to pedal the bike, speeding up the dynamo and creating electricity.
And that's how it works?
That's how it works.
And what's the point of all this?
Right, over here, hop on.
OK.
Grab some safety glasses.
Right.
I have got a firing desk here which is connected up to a whole load of fireworks. You need to pedal to generate electricity. That will light up my light bulbs, and then I'll know that I've got power to fire my fireworks.
Which explains why I'm wearing safety goggles on a bike that's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
The electrical energy Stephen is creating is being stored up until there's enough to create a spark that will ignite the fireworks from the inside. All it takes is the push of a button to unleash the stored electricity with explosive results.
Look at the power you're creating.
Oh, your smug face is even better lit.
You need to go faster, though.
OK.
You need to get these bulbs lit up. So these are 60-watt bulbs, and you're generating about 200 volts of electricity.
Oh, well...
But you need to keep it at a constant speed.
OK.
You ready for it?
Ready for what?
Keep going. Faster, 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 and... Look at that!
Oh, wow!
My fire... No, but you're going to have to keep going, because I can't...
Okay.
Yeah, keep on going.
What's this then? I'm powering your fridge as well. Microwave...
I need to get these bulbs lit up properly.
Oh, OK, I'm going.
There you go! Faster, 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 faster. Yeah! Yeah! Are you ready for the finale? 3, 2, 1.
I did that! That's amazing, yeah, excellent. Look at that, and that was proper eco, wasn't it? We didn't plug into the mains, it was just me.
Exactly right, just you powering my firing system.
Oh, I'm really excited about that. Well, thank you for that, Mike. I'm just pleased that I'm done for the day.
No,
I'm exhausted.
not quite yet.
Oh.
Need you for one more thing.
Right.
You've got to admit, this is the perfect eco-friendly hack. You're generating electricity for free. It's free energy.
Do you know what, Mike? I think you're right. The fact is, you know, we could be burning fossil fuels to make electricity and ruining the environment and the planet, but by using human power,
I am able to get this bike to generate essential services. It's a brilliant idea. One of the best ones ever, Mike. What do you think, Mike? 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 Mike?
Stephen, keep pedalling. I'm barely on the second episode.
From balloons to boats, carbon dioxide to catapults, and bags to very, very big bangs. We've given you all the tools you need to become eco-warriors. Go forth and save the planet.